Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Casual Sports Podcast. It's been 1 year since we kicked this thing off, almost exactly. We used to do the show on Wednesdays, now we do it on Mondays. But this week, the 1 year anniversary. I'm Alec Aberna, joined with me as always, Matt Morrison, and back for the first time this year, back from COVID, our host this week, Mike Wolfgang. Mike, take it away, buddy.
What's up, guys? So yeah, as Alec mentioned, I am COVID free. I did have it, and it was easy. It was a mild case I had, and I'm glad to be back. So as Alec mentioned, it is our 1 year anniversary of the show. We've actually been through a lot. As Alec mentioned, we did it on Wednesdays. Now we're on Mondays. We did it on the studios. Now we're doing it in the apartment. So we've been through a lot, but we're still here.
If you want me to take you through the chaos of us doing it, because we had so many technical difficulties at the beginning. Once we got into the radio station,
we were set and we loved it in there, and then
the technical difficulties in the radio station of trying to get the audio from the radio station to try and put it up anywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't think we actually had our first show go onto YouTube for at least a month or two, nearly. Then once we finally upload to YouTube, our second week of uploading, we do it on video. That's the final show done right before spring break.
For a long time it was.
It was the final show done inside of Rookery Radio, and then all of campus shut down with COVID. So then Matt and I did a bunch of stuff over the summer, just trying to get videos out there. Matt would come over to my place, we'd record like 3 or 4 of them, and then I'd just upload them periodically, and then even those would get messed up. Like, we have a Big Ten predictions video that never came out, because we made the video 2 days, I think a week later. The Big Ten canceled the season. It was like, oh, it was a really good video, too. I don't think we've done more work for a video, and then it doesn't come out.
we did our...
That's just non-existent.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
We did our AFC North predictions video.
Right.
That was a pretty good one.
AFC North got a lot of views for us. That was a good one. Then the NBA came back. We're like, finally, we got something to talk about.
Finally, all three got back together. And
right, we all got back together at the beginning
off.
of the semester. We kind of rolled through the beginning of the semester. I feel like we did all right with maintaining a proper schedule-ish. I think we had to cancel a few times. Then we hit winter break. We were supposed to do videos.
Then I got hit. And
then you got hit with COVID. And it was like, even the holidays, it was just like, man, why don't we just...
Take a break.
Take a 2 weeks off here.
Yeah.
Not much was going on in sports. A few things. NBA started. There was randomness. Not much really would have put the show together. Then we finally get back, college football championship, and then we take a week off.
And we're not able to get back.
Right. And then finally
NFL
we're back,
underway, we weren't here for it.
And Mike's here COVID-free.
But I think I speak for myself. I'm sure you guys agree. Everything we've been through, as you were just talking about, I'm pretty pleased with where we're at. I think we made strides with where we want to go. I think we're going in the right direction. So.
We're so going in the right direction right now. We got, I don't want to say big things planned, but we have things planned.
We do.
Planned
to eventually happen at some point. We want to get back into a radio station, but at the moment, it's not looking like that's working out. So right now, we're sticking with this setup. I mean, it works for us. It's casual.
Fingers crossed for next semester that we can...
Fingers crossed that COVID goes away enough to the fact that stuff can start going back to normal.
Yes. Let's hope.
So, we just started with a good anniversary. Now, unfortunately, there's some bad ones. As we
talk
mentioned,
about us also having the worst timing, because what you're about to talk about this, and then the first time Matt and I called a high school football game was also 9/11.
Yes.
Of 2020. So great. So we
this
started
show might
the
be cursed a
anniversary
little bit.
I think it's just Matt and I. Maybe it's Matt.
Maybe it's just me.
It might just be Matt.
Well, the first one that we're going to talk about wasn't.
This wasn't our fault. I swear.
So you want to do that?
It's Mike's show. Let him talk it.
Yeah. So, our first show, as we mentioned numerous times throughout our different episodes, our first show was on the week of Kobe Bryant's death. We started that show with a moment of silence, and I think it's fair that, out of respect to him and the legacy that he left, that we open the show with a moment of silence. So we're going to do that now.
Very good, Mike. Nice one.
So anything else you guys want to say about Kobe or his legacy and who he is?
I think we talked about his legacy then, but even looking back at it now ESPN's making a bunch of specials for him. It's nice and all, but at the same time, it's like, man, is this all we can do to remember this guy? Especially with how crazy the NBA season is. The Lakers don't go win the NBA title, and it's just like, I don't know. At some moment last year, I don't want to say it was like he got forgotten at some point, but with everything else that went on, the Lakers put the patch on their jerseys, but it never felt like once we got into the bubble, didn't really feel like anybody mentioned Kobe again.
Especially after they won the championship.
Right.
I mean,
It
they
was-
kind of briefly did, and the
Right,
players did.
and then
but
there's been all the pictures, LeBron and Kobe posing with the title, and it's like, cool, but like, isn't there something more we can do to remember him? Like, why hasn't there been anything done? I mean, the Lakers retired both of his jerseys,
Yes.
but I don't know. I feel like there's more we can do because the guy had such an impact on the sports world, on the out of the sports. I mean, he really. Michael Jordan was somewhat of an actor. LeBron's really gone into that side, but Kobe did a lot of stuff in the business world of it.
Definitely.
Outside of
Kobe
the
won
acting.
an Oscar.
Right. Kobe won the Oscar, but I just mean he also had a lot of business stuff. And I think he's helped a lot of the younger generation of basketball players realize it's not just basketball anymore.
Right, you're talking about like the younger generation. I mean, you see with like players within just the last year since he passed away that are, recognizing him and his legacy and their work ethic. I mean, you saw yesterday with Patrick Mahomes after they go to the AFC Championship game saying...
And it's not just basketball, right?
Right, it goes every sport. So that's just who he was and the legacy he left, and it's never going to go away.
No, I don't think. Not at least anytime soon, obviously. At some point, we won't say forgotten, but people will have moved on to the point where like, all right.
I don't want... Yeah,
what's the team? What's the city like? What's the NBA like without the icon? And they won't have to talk about it all the time,
Like you said, it's not that we're just going to ignore them, but it's just the fact that the sad part of it is when stuff like that happens, life still
Eventually
goes on.
You have to move on.
We're still here. Life still has to go on as long as we're here too. Because any day it could happen to anybody.
Yes.
So
Matt, you got anything?
Not really. You guys pretty much touched that base. I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. I always have been. I mean, I'm repping most of the stuff today.
Matt's got on a Kobe remembered hoodie and
Legends
some Kobe
forever.
styled shoes made by his friend.
My girlfriend.
friend.
I didn't know if you wanted to say it on the show, so I just said friend.
Just no names and all that.
Right, no names.
So yeah, I think we kind of said what we wanted to say about Kobe. Unless Matt, you don't have anything else.
Not really. If you wanted to talk about, it's a 1-year anniversary. If you want to, I could tell the story of how we got the show going.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes for Kobe and what we were talking about before. So
before the whole Kobe thing, I was really excited
about
for the
December
show.
when you started this whole idea.
Yeah.
because we were leaving Penn Run down and you thought of the idea.
Yeah, we were, Mike and I were involved with another TV production team that covers sports of YSU.
Whose names we won't mention.
We won't mention, even though Mike just did.
Just the name of it.
It's just a name. But we didn't like the way it was going there. We didn't.
We just kind of wanted to go into
we just
something
kinda
different.
They wanted more.
We wanted more out of it. Let's put it that way. And so I knew Mike was going to be on the show, and I needed that third guy. I needed that a guy who talked a lot.
Think you found him.
Yeah.
He's definitely here to stay.
And I knew Alec from going to football games with him, and we've been hanging out more. And one day we were going to the class. I'm like, "Hey, you want to come to this meeting with me? I'm going to try and get a TV
He gave
production."
me about 2-minute notice. He's like, it was at the end of a class is when you told me, you're like, hey, I'm going to meet with the dean right now to pitch this idea to get us into the TV booth.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a part of it? And I was a freshman at the time.
Yeah.
My first semester, I was like, what is this guy talking about? And I just go, sure.
What the heck? Why not?
Why not?
It's sports.
So we go in there, we're talking to the dean, or the chairperson.
Yes.
And she looks at me and says, so what is your idea for this? So out of nowhere, I just have to start pulling out of my rear.
Which you did.
My idea
It was
for the
pretty
show.
much Matt.
Which you
right
did.
there.
I don't think I did too bad. They told us, we don't have the money to put it on right now. How about you go down the radio station, talk to them?
Yeah, she is now our head of the department, but
Right.
she was in a pretty much a still higher role. She
Right.
talked to the student body, and so she gave me the contact information of the person in
Rookery.
charge of Rookery, and Alec and I met with her in person a week later. And you know what? That was a pretty cool coffee shop we were in. By
Yeah,
the
we got to
way.
go back
We gotta
there.
go back there. I totally forgot about that until now.
It's just right up the street.
It's right up the street.
you know what it was?
Now I forget what it's
I'm always
called.
down for coffee shops. I love coffee.
Maybe we
I don't
could go
know.
after the show.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just a
Back
little
on
odd.
track, Matt.
Back on track. But then that was that. We a week later, we scheduled a day we wanted to do it, and we were all hyped.
And then Matt actually had somebody that made us the original logo for Casual
Yes,
Sports Report.
I had somebody I work with that made the logo for
Hats,
it.
shirts, all that stuff.
And it's actually kind of funny the way we came up with the name. It was one that I had actually made back in high school. I designed a company called Casual Sports Report all the way back in high school.
I thought you made it.
I
didn't know that.
No, it was
going
in 2018. That's why if you look on our Twitter, it says joined in like May of 2018.
Yeah.
It's because the company was created back then. It pretty much sat dormant.
We had a couple
for
ideas.
Tucked away.
We had a couple ideas I really didn't feel good about. I think I had a name called like the Easy Sports Talk Show or something like that.
Something like that. And I just went, I already have a company. Let's do Casual Sports Report, and we'll make
Like,
the Casual
dude,
Sports Podcast.
then we were
that's
born.
great.
Right. And like I showed Matt my logo. He's like, we got to get something new. This is old.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's okay. I made it on Microsoft Paint. So Matt gets his friend to make this for us. Then after a while, actually, I get my cousin to make us the theme song that we've used over and over. Marty Chen. Check him out. Check him out on Spotify.
My uncle supplied us with
a couple
hoodies,
items of gear.
couple
apparel.
hats, and 2 hoodies. So.
And
Yeah.
here we are.
And now we moved up to coffee cups and pens.
Yeah, we got coffee cups, pens. I'm ropping out with the business cards over here on my end. Thanks, Mom.
We're getting the fish one out.
Mom hooking it up with the best Christmas presents right now.
Yeah, so like I said, I think we're in a good spot, and
We were all hyped up for the show and everything, and then that news hit. Kobe died.
that weekend.
And it just... we still have the recording of me bringing in the show on Instagram. I believe you go check it out. I should
really?
Yeah, it's on there. Maybe I should repost it.
If we want to make the people cry.
Right.
I was just so emotional. Like I didn't want to talk.
I think I actually almost did tear up when I was talking about it on the first show.
I mean, it wasn't hard. It was hard not to. So
it was. I don't want to reminisce about that at all. So.
All right, well,
let's get into
guys wanna move
let's
into
get
it
into
a
the
little
actual
Mike,
show.
what do you
here.
got?
So while we're kind of talking about the Lakers a little bit, Cavs and Lakers tonight.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
before
I'm
we,
a
really
Cavs
good
fan.
one.
I'm wearing Lakers stuff.
before we
Oh,
even
man,
like get
Matt.
into
Matt.
like the matchup and all that, you guys just want to talk about the Cavs so far? I mean,
Yes.
they're looking
I'm
good.
loving them.
Oh man, 8-8.
So-
I know that's kind. Sorry, Mike.
I think they're
know-
8-8 now. Yeah,
They're 8-8
they lost
now.
last
They
night.
lost last night. I know that's like, oh, so what, 8-8. But for the Cavs, 8-8's like, holy cow, they're still in the playoffs.
Well, here's why.
If we finish
They-
41-41, I'm okay with that.
They-
Keep this pace.
Go ahead.
They beat Brooklyn twice in a row. I know they didn't have Kevin Durant in the second game, but they still had the ability to win, especially with James Harden and Kyrie Irving and even DeAndre Jordan. And the Cavs won by more in that game, in the second game.
Well, here's why. Again, I'm not one to overreact. With the Cavs, sometimes I overreact because
It's
they've
the
been bad
Cavs.
the last few years. But
Yeah.
Fun.
and
Why
all my
not?
teams
so
stink,
fun.
so I kind of tend
I
to
love-
do that. But so far with the Cavs, I mean, they're 3-1 since they got Jared Allen and Torian Prince. Their only
Yes.
loss was last night.
We
And
got that deal
Embarrassing fashion.
so good.
Oh, Jared Allen's great.
I don't know. The Nets have no defense, and they gave up their best defensive weapon.
I'm
in
really
Jared.
They would've-
upset.
both of them. Torian Prince is a good
Right.
defender.
And he
I
can
think
shoot,
I
yeah.
speak for all of us here. I'm upset about the whole Kevin Porter Jr. thing.
Situation. The entire part of it's
the
like,
whole
man.
thing is like he was very promising, and he was supposed to be taken really high in that draft.
He fell
and
down.
That's why
the
he
Cavs
fell.
traded up. I'm like, we'll
On a
take
serious
him.
note, this kind of goes back to
Now
what
he's
we.
with-
I mean, it's not to the extent because this is his second year.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes back to how we talk about Antonio Brown.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope
It's
when
not
this
as
guy goes down to
extreme.
Houston, he fits better there, and it helps him.
I hope he does well,
Me
and I think
too.
it's a good piece for Houston.
Right.
Me too.
He's a
And-
great player, and I hope it works out for him.
I hope he
I
gets
don't know
into-
what happened in Cleveland with him, though.
I don't know what happened at that last instance. I guess they gave his locker to Torian Prince. But
And he
And he-
started throwing food.
That-
He pulled the J.R. Smith
specifically
through some
at
soup.
Kobe Alton.
what is a question with food in the Cavs locker room?
I don't know. It
Soup
should
with
be
J.R.
banned
Smith
at some
and
point.
now food with
I remember the soup. With J.R. Smith.
throwing soup.
David Jones.
What if we taking a Henny ball out of his backpack? And
J.R. doesn't even like
He
Henny.
doesn't eat. Yeah, I mean, that'd be so
I
funny.
mean, he says he doesn't.
He
But,
says he doesn't.
but yeah, back to the Cavs. I mean, the thing that sticks out most, and we have all talked about this, behind the scenes. Their defense is so much better this year.
Oh,
Yeah, we got
There's
the number
currently
one
there's-
and number two.
Well, I think I looked today. I don't know if this is accurate or not, if it's changed, but they were 7th in the rankings I looked at, which is still pretty
Oh,
good
they're actually up to 6th now.
compared to where they have been the last few years. They've been in the bottom. I don't know the exact stat. I mean, they're forcing more than 20 turnovers a game, which is great. I don't know the exact number on it, but I heard that Larry Nance Jr. is leading the league in deflections.
Yes, I
And
didn't
they-
know that.
You can definitely tell
And
when
then
you're watching them on
Andre
TV.
Drummond, I believe, is leading in rebounds. Rebounds or offensive rebounds, one of the two.
Probably
we're
both.
clicking.
He had that 30 and 20 night that one night.
Yeah,
That was
he's balling
disgusting. Sexton, you gotta love what you're seeing out of him.
Heck yes.
Not even just the game against the Nets.
I know.
He has gotten so much better,
Oh.
and it's been so quiet because nobody's talking. I mean, he's with the Cavs.
I mean, what about Osman too?
You know what? When they're all healthy and stuff like that, and because Okoro's probably going to be the starting small forward, I like Jetty on off the bench. He
and
is
there's
a very
I've
good
been
athlete.
calling for
Okoro,
Jetty Osman
man.
to be our sixth man since early last year. I've been on the Jetty train the entire time, and I'm glad everyone's jumping aboard.
Because
now.
we talked about during the draft on the show, they needed a small forward. Because it's not a knock against Jetty. I think he's a good player, but he's just better suited off the bench. I think it showed that so far.
It was kind of like Kevin Porter was a great bench player, too.
Right. Yeah. But we haven't gotten to see Jetty off the bench that much because they've been so injured, so he's had to start.
Right.
So they're finally getting guys back, which is shown in
And, you talk about the Cavs offense. We're almost out of last place right now in terms of points per game. We're at 104.3. The Orlando Magic is 104.8. So our offense actually is improving because just a few nights ago, it was down at 102.
And I don't want to...
So, it's coming up. It's coming along.
And not to make excuses, because they are going to get better and they are young. So the offense is going to come around as long as they keep the defense, and that'll keep them in the games. But people kind of forget they've been so injured this year. At one point, they had 8 guys on injured, and they had to go sign Yogi Ferrell to play one game, and they cut him.
Yeah.
But that's how badly injured they were, and they had it wasn't just key role players. They had pretty much the whole starting lineup out.
Right, and I like stats. So they're also the 7th best in opponents' points per game now. They were actually first, but they faced Brooklyn on back-to-back nights, went into overtime, double overtime the first time, and then just got whooped by the Celtics.
Speaking of the first overtime, I think it was when in regulation, or maybe it was first overtime. But whenever it was, Sexton hit that shot to kind of put it to send it to whatever overtime it was. I personally thought it was over, and for Sexton to get that shot off and to want to take that shot, that just shows who he is.
Oh yeah,
I was going crazy when he hit it. I'm like, oh my god!
I definitely thought it was over, but
me too.
Sexton had a good season last year, but I think this season he's finally living up to that hype that most people were like, is he ever going to mature into this player that he probably could be? And I think it's finally showing that he is. He can be that guy.
Because I remember that 8th
that
pick.
can take the final shot like Kyrie.
He's
like, I'm coming in. I'm wearing number 2. I'm wearing Kyrie's shoes. I'm in Kyrie's building. And now he's hitting shots like Kyrie.
Didn't he shoot that over Kyrie?
Probably.
The one to send it to what...
Yeah.
I can't remember what overtime it was, but to extend the game further.
Right.
But yeah, I remember when Sexton was drafted by the Cavs 8th overall, and that was when LeBron was still on the roster, and people were saying, is that enough to keep LeBron here? And they were saying no. And I just like how people keep doubting Sexton, and he's just continues to show him wrong.
And let's keep in mind that we got Sexton in that trade.
Yeah.
We traded
with
him.
The Kyrie trade, yeah.
We got all those. We got Isaiah Thomas and I don't know who else, but then we got that 8th overall pick too. Yeah. So
anything else that kind of sticks out to you guys with the Cavs? I mean, you gotta love what you're seeing so far.
I like JaVale McGee as well. As you said, Drummond and Jarrett Allen. Man, what was it? 4 blocks that one game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely one of the best shot blockers in the league.
Talking about Colin Sexton again, real quick here. Colin Sexton's actually 15th in the NBA right now in points per game.
He's averaging like 25, I think.
Colin Sexton's up to 15th. He's at 25.8 points per game.
I think that's like a 2-point increase from last year, the short season last year. So he's coming up.
His assists. He was up at 27 a little bit earlier this season. He just had 2 down games. So with only a few games played, it goes up and down. But not to overreact to stats or anything yet, but
the stats are showing improvement.
Right, they show improvement and a continued gradual increase in improvement. Because if you have a player that just automatically one season just bumps up to amazing levels, you don't expect it to stay around very long. They have a one season boom and then they drop off again.
Right.
It happens. It's known to happen. But if you have a player that you see the growth increase every year, that's a player like, all right, we can build around this guy. By the time we get all the pieces, he's going to be at his top form once he's in his prime. We can start building now.
Yeah. And I like their depth. I mean, people talk about their depth at the big position. They're pretty loaded at every position. And they're all young. I told you guys.
I think we're still a little low on the small forwards.
We are, but
we have the big guys that then can transition down. Like Larry Nance can kind of do the small forward. Prince can play small forward. Jared Allen's the same size as Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
So he can play power forward.
And he's a little longer than Tristan.
Right.
But in terms of they're the point guard position. We always talk about how many guards the Cavs have. Trading away Dante Exum, that was their backup point guard, so they don't have him anymore. But I like Damian Dawson stepping into that backup point guard position.
There's another player.
Because he's not a natural point guard, but he had to play it when they were so injured.
Right.
And he's done a very good job in it. And I don't know if Delly's part of the future, but he's still injured, and that would be kind of the backup point guard.
I don't even
After
know if
getting
he
rid
was
of
still on the
Exum.
team.
Neither did I.
him and Kevin Love are two guys.
Bet you somebody we know did.
I bet she does.
We're gonna keep it here. But so are you guys kind of buying the hype so far, or you ready? Or you kind of want to put the brakes on, or you just kind of see where
I'm buying in.
I'm buying
Cavs to
in.
the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, that's my
I
dark
think
horse
it's
pick.
likely.
That's my dark horse pick.
I'm not guaranteeing it, but it's likely.
I will make it dual because we're going to get to the point in the season where we have the break and they're going to redo all the schedules for the second half of the season,
Right.
Because they wanted to be able to adjust for COVID,
Which was a smart idea.
which was a smart idea. Not a lot of leagues, Big Ten, accounted for COVID actually being a real thing. Thank goodness the NBA has half a brain when it comes to it most of the time. So we'll get to that point. And I think at that break, that midpoint, I think that's going to be the time we actually go and break down, like, all right, are the Cavs actually here? Can we actually go make a 7th or 8th seed, 6th seed push? Can we do that? I'm not saying, NBA Finals, because right now, I know we beat the Nets on back-to-back nights, but that's the Nets having no chemistry and not played together before. By the time we get to the end of the season, it's going to be a completely different Nets team. If the Celtics are still hitting on all cylinders, if the 76ers start playing again at the level that they were at the start of the season, and they're doing really good right now. So those are the top 3 teams. And don't forget about the Bucks. They still exist. There's a lot of good teams going right now that just haven't really hit their strides. So Cleveland hit early. Now it's time. Can you carry this all the way to that halfway point? And then can you go off of that and be like, all right, we're a legit team. Can we go build off this and make a run?
I definitely think, as I talked about, with their strength this year is in their numbers. They have a deep bench, and it's a young bench. And if they can kind of and again, there's going to be growing pains as they're only in their first year, I guess, together. If they can withstand last night how they got killed pretty bad.
Right. If they can come back tonight against the Lakers, and they don't have to win,
just play hard.
Close.
And that's something
close. Finish this one good.
As we talk about guaranteeing something, that you can guarantee that they're going to play hard every night because
right.
As we
that's
talk about with their
mentality.
defense, they've gotten better with their defense, and that's I hear Larry Nance Jr. talk about it all the time. If we just defend, and the offense will come.
Right.
And
Colin Sexton said it earlier this year, I believe, or I think around December. He was like, when I'm having an off night offensively, I know if I get a few steals on defense, that gets me going, that gets me amped up, and even if I don't make my shots, I'm still helping my team out on defense.
Exactly.
I make my offense by playing good defense.
Yeah.
And I do want to say this right now. There is zero chance that the Cleveland Cavaliers win the division this year.
No,
I'm just saying, because
Milwaukee
right now,
and
Milwaukee
Indiana?
and Indiana are above us both. Milwaukee's 10-6, Indiana's 9-7. So yes, we're close. We're only 2 games back from first.
So you got to hope for one of those final playoff spots, which there still is a play-in this year too.
Right, yeah,
That's
they're going to do the
something to
play-in tournament, so we have even more of a chance. That also means if we're in those play-in games, we have to win.
You got to win them.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the biggest games of the year, and that's probably where the Cavs are going to fall in.
Yeah.
Potentially into one of these play-in style games, however they decide to organize it.
Hey, if they get in the play-in games and let's say they lose and they don't get in, at least they had a chance.
You're right.
Yeah.
And
kind of like,
go
kind
ahead.
of like Phoenix last year.
Right.
Exactly. And
They
see how
won
are
every
now.
game and still didn't get in.
Right, they needed some other teams to lose, and they just never did.
And they're playing well right now. But yeah, it's going to
Phoenix
get
is
better
currently
because
the
they're so
7th
young.
seed.
Yeah. So
they're.
we'll see how they play tonight against the
like
Lakers.
to see that
I
Phoenix
would just
team.
like to see them play hard, and which they're going to, and just kind of keep it close if they don't end up winning it. But it'll be a good one. LeBron's back.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of weird because there's hardly any fans there, but he'll be back there. It'll be a good one.
Yeah, it was the first time. Well, it was supposed to be last year, but COVID happened.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait, is it really?
Or no, he was there once.
He's been back already?
Yeah, because this is
think
what
it's sold
third
Oh
out.
year.
yeah, that's right. Okay.
It was the first time Kyrie had been back in Cleveland.
That's right. I think it was the second time.
No, it was the first because they did the tribute video for him.
That's right.
That
It was
was
the
the second
second
time
time
he
he
faced
faced them.
He was there with the Celtics. Didn't he play in that game?
I think
'Cause
they were
LeBron
in
was still-
Boston. They were in Boston.
No, you're right. He did play
No,
in
it
that
wasn't.
Boston game.
'Cause they said since
That's when
2017,
Hayward broke his leg on the Cavs.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
What do they call it? Stanchion? Bottom part of the basket.
Oh, the extension, wherever.
Yeah.
Wherever he did it. But, yeah, because those couple games Kyrie was with the Celtics and they came to Cleveland, he was out. And then with the
Right.
Nets last year, he was out. So that was actually his first one in 3 years playing there.
Yeah. Because they did the tribute video for him.
I don't know if they did one the first game or not. They must not have if they did it again.
I guess not. Maybe he didn't play that game. I could have sworn that he did, though.
I think he did.
That's all they were talking about was like, oh, first time he's played in Cleveland.
I'm pretty
since.
sure he did. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's too long ago, anyways.
How do you guys feel about how the NBA has been handling the COVID situations with canceling games? Because they were off really dumb with the way they were doing it, but now I think they've kind of set a standard and are going by that.
I mean, they kind of strengthened the rules last week or the week before.
Right.
So they're actually, they're monitoring it. They're trying to, make restrictions. Hey, if you guys want to play, you guys got to follow these rules.
Yeah. Kyrie didn't, and he didn't play for a while.
He was out for personal issues too, though.
But
yeah,
then
whatever those were.
Yeah.
Then they fined him. I think it was $800,000 a game that he was out.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing to them.
I mean, I
for
think
a guy
they've
that
done
makes
well.
like 1.5 a game, so
Yeah. And I like how they've in certain cities, like if a team, like if the Cavs are playing in Boston, like last night for example, I like how they've made it like they'll play Boston one night off, then they're in the same city again playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to cancel games. They all knew that. So, I mean, and they have room to do that. I don't know if they're going to make them up because
I don't know.
I know
how
they're taking that
gonna
week
handle
off before the next half, but I don't know if they're going to have room to make them up. But I think they've done a good job.
I don't think they're going to make up games per se, but they're going to find a way to not have more. I don't think they're going to do double headers because that's just too much.
That can't happen in basketball.
No,
yeah,
that doesn't really work for basketball.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting. Maybe they extend the season, push the NBA Finals back a little bit. But we did actually have some big news come out of the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games when it comes to basketball. Did you guys hear this? So, the NBA Finals falls the same week as the Olympic Games.
yeah.
So players involved in the NBA Finals won't be able to go play for the U.S. Olympic team.
So yeah, they're just not going to have a team.
So college players then?
No, I mean, the players that are eliminated from the finals will go play.
They're going to have to play. Somebody's going to have to play.
Right. But most likely that would mean potentially we're almost kind of playing the what if, like what team would we want to still be good that wouldn't send any guys? Like, Cavs, that would be great. We're probably not sending anybody to the Olympics. Maybe put them in the finals.
We'll just set our whole roster there.
Starting point guard for the U.S. Olympic team.
But it also means,
Sexton.
say, the Bucks make the NBA Finals. Giannis can't go play for Greece.
Nope.
That too, yeah.
Giannis and Thanasis.
Yeah, his brother.
Neither one of them would be able to go play for the Greek team. And that would really hurt Greece because that's the only... I mean, he's the best part of their team is Giannis.
Or if Dallas made it, Doncic
Luka couldn't go play for, Croatia?
Yeah, is that where he's from?
I think.
Somewhere over there.
I don't remember what team he represented. Because I know he is part Croatian.
Deli wouldn't be able to go play for Australia.
Right. So you get almost like, oh man, how does this impact the other teams? Like, who has the most foreign players on teams that we'd actually want to have to sit out?
Well, at one point in time, I think the Spurs had the whole Italian team on there.
France too.
France,
Because
yeah.
Parker,
Yeah.
Between Parker, Ginobili.
Ginobili.
Boris Diaw, somebody else too. But.
Somebody else.
Yeah, we're still kind of waiting on the NBA to start rolling up a little bit more.
It's been good so far.
It's heating up, but I think we're still waiting on that. Really, I don't think one team's really kind of set themselves ahead right now.
I don't know, probably the Lakers in the West.
I mean, the Lakers and the Clippers are both tied at 13-4. The Jazz are right behind them at 12-4. Philly's 12-5. Milwaukee's 10-6. I mean, really, all the teams are close until you get down to the bottom half, and even then, the farthest team behind right now is Detroit, and they're 9.5 games back from first.
Yeah, so it's still early. I mean, even the teams at the bottom are,
And they're
not alive,
actually
but
in
they're
conference.
still
They're only 8.5. So no team's really out of contention yet. There's some teams where like, okay, this isn't the team we thought they were. Like the Pelicans right now, they're 5-10. So
they got time to get going.
Right. Zion has to get into that thing. I know, Matt, you don't like him. Whatever. He's got to get into his rhythm. I think his points have been pretty good, though.
Guys,
so far.
he came back last year, and then a few weeks later it got canceled from COVID. So,
yeah.
And then this year he's still getting into it. So
he
may end up being a bust,
scorer
but
at
let's give him some time.
He's the leading scorer, 23.4 points per game. It's about where Colin Sexton was last year, wasn't it?
Right.
I think.
Yeah. I still want him to start passing the ball a little bit more, but that's not important.
His assists went up like 1 or 2.
He's at 1.9 at the moment.
So let's get that up a little bit.
No, Zion needs to pass it.
Oh, Zion, yeah.
Yeah. Other teams that really aren't living up to it right now, though, Miami Heat, they're 6-9. Nice. But, they could be doing better. They have the guys to do it. Like, this team was in the finals last year, and they're 6-9 right now. What happened?
So-
Golden State's only 8-8.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So in terms of
Okay.
like teams getting better or worse, who surprised you so far? I mean, I
The
know we're only
Knicks.
a month in.
Didn't
New York Knicks right now, they're surprising me. They're the 8th seed. They're 8-10. But what's so nice about them? They're currently number 1 in opponents' points per game at 103.6.
The New York Knicks.
The New York Knicks, right? And their offense is still struggling. They currently got they're sitting kind of where the Cavs were a little bit ago with one of the worst offenses out there. Points per game, they're at 101.9, so they're actually the worst right now. That makes Cavs second worst offense.
You know, there aren't too many surprises for me, really. I mean, I kind of like the Hawks. They're a good young team. I think they're 7th in the East. I kind of like where they're at, but
San Antonio.
San Antonio, yeah, they're hanging on to that 8th seed.
8th seed, they're
Blazers
9-8.
rebounding from last year.
Yeah, but they're always at the 4th,
Yeah.
5th, 6th seed.
Dallas,
That's not surprising.
Dallas hanging.
Houston.
Yeah, Houston. Dallas hanging around towards the middle of the standings, towards the end of the playoff picture, but they'll get going. You would think they would.
Hopefully.
But yeah, there's not too many surprises. Like you said, the Clippers and Lakers are going at it like we all thought they would in the West.
Right, they're kind of doing what everyone thought they would last year. Interesting thing with the Lakers: 4-4 at home, but 9-0 on the road. Have not lost a road game, so that doesn't.
Could have happened tonight.
Yes.
Is it a road game tonight?
Yeah, they're
yes,
in Cleveland.
they're in Cleveland.
Ooh, okay, could be an interesting one.
That'd be a good story.
I mean,
That'd
but
be great. That'd be great.
I don't know if we stand a chance. They have one of the best offenses in the NBA that we're going up against tonight.
We have one of the best defenses too.
Yeah, but so do they.
I know. I'm just saying.
Our
cold
defense
six.
is 108.8 a game. Theirs is 104.3 for the opponent's points per game. So
And they're defending champs, so it's
and they're defending champs. In the last 10 games, we're 4-6. They're 8-2.
and we're still getting guys back. So it might
Right.
not-
Hey, they
Hey,
lost.
we don't have Kevin Love.
Golden
That's our
State
excuse
beat 'em.
tonight.
Golden State
And
beat
Delhi.
them.
Yeah, but they have Steph Curry. and
and Wiggins and Green. And,
didn't Curry drop like 40 plus
Wiseman?
in that
He
game
went
or
off, I
something?
think, yeah.
Wiseman.
yeah, Wiseman too.
Draymond keeps getting technicals, getting kicked out of ball games.
What a minute.
He got in trouble. No, he got a technical for yelling at his own
Did he again?
teammate.
I haven't followed them at all this year.
Huh?
He did get another one?
He got 2 in that game, in one game. 'Cause
I
he
didn't
was
see that
yelling
game.
at, I think it was James Wiseman. He was yelling at Wiseman. He's been very vocal this year
I
towards
think I
his
saw
teammates.
that. That one.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing to do with Draymond.
No. It's
Um,
Draymond.
I can't stand him.
Yeah, we know.
Oh,
You like when
You don't
Go
like
Cavs.
anybody.
Well, I really don't like him. I like the whole Golden State team except him.
You'd like if the Cavs got him, wouldn't you?
No.
Yes, we all would.
That's
Come
a
on.
lie.
We all would.
No.
You would, wouldn't you?
There's a reason why I love Michigan
I wouldn't be
State.
happy about it at
I
first,
love
but I
Michigan
eventually
State.
would.
Michigan State's probably one of my
because
favorite.
if he came to the Cavs,
Listen,
oh sorry, go ahead.
Michigan State's probably one of my favorite college basketball teams. Not when he was there.
If he came to the Cavs and they got that mentality like he has, which they kind of do have now, like tough
Yeah.
and
He'd be a
scrap,
pretty good fit with the Cavs.
we would all
actually.
love him.
Yeah, probably.
He would come. He would come around for you, Matt.
No.
Well, me and Alec
Matt's a
would.
hater until he shows up.
No.
It's like there's probably
He
it's
shows
about
up.
any player that if we get a superstar coming to Cleveland, the guy's getting a banner like put up on Main Street of downtown Cleveland.
You'd get
Like,
his jersey, wouldn't you?
No.
I'd buy it.
Matt,
for
you love
Matt.
jerseys. You get his jersey.
I'd buy Matt a Draymond Green jersey.
Force him to wear it.
That's worse than the Baker jersey.
You
I'd wear the
bought that
Baker
one.
jersey by accident.
All right,
Alright, Mike, what else you
Anything
got
else
for
with NBA or you guys?
No, I think that's all I got right now.
So I think we're gonna move on to college football because we haven't been here for how long to talk about it.
How about
we
that
had-
Bama team?
We had the show the Monday night of the college football championship game.
But no time for you to react to how your
No time
Buckeyes were.
afterwards, right? So
Well,
we had a
you wanna
video go
react?
up that Monday. Actually, I got a fun story that we could say
Yeah, go ahead.
before. So earlier in that week, I received an email to be on College Game Day. I was
Oh,
part of the
I remember. This
virtual
is awesome.
crowd, and
Did you put it on the Instagram? Or was
yes,
on
it
your
was posted
personal
on our
one?
Instagram.
I
So if you want to go
posted
check
it
out
too.
us being on, me being on College Game Day. Chris Fowley even talked about me. So what had happened? I'm sitting out here in the living room. I'm part of the virtual crowd, and it goes to commercial break, and there's a Pitbull song playing. And one of my roommates laying on the floor. He's just kind of dancing. So I start making fun of him dancing myself, and probably 45 minutes later into the night, I pop up on College Game Day because I get the producer feed. while doing that. So my TV monitor that I'm watching is 15 seconds ahead of the TV that I have on behind my laptop.
Yeah, right.
So I'm sitting there watching it, and I go, wait a minute, that's me. That's not me now, though. Like, so I had an out-of-body experience seeing myself on live TV being like, wait. And they go, yo, record, I'm on game day. Freaking out like, yo. Like, my roommate's been sitting there the whole time ready to record me on game day. And then, like, he gets up to go make food in the kitchen. And
that's
exactly when it happens. And I'm just like, yo, I'm on TV, and they got me dancing. Chris Fowler goes, hey, look at this guy dancing. And I'm just like, oh my goodness.
You were decked out, too.
I was so
you
decked
had the wig
out.
Going on. You had
wig, necklaces,
jersey.
My jersey. I had the wall behind me decked up and stuff. It's all gone now, but my wig is on the wall.
There it is. Yeah.
And then that was probably the highlight of that night. No, I don't think anything else happened after college game day. I think there was a football game, but, you know. All props to Alabama. That was the best college football team I think I've ever seen.
They were so ridiculously loaded.
Devontae Smith, best wide receiver in football.
There's so much talent on that team, there wasn't room for any of them.
I'm sorry, but Ohio State was beating them. Clemson was beating them.
Did not matter.
Whoever else was in there wasn't beating them.
I was watching that game, and I was
I think Penn State would beat them.
I don't think Penn State could have beat Indiana.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, I know. But no, I mean, Devontae Smith, best player in football, I think right now.
Oh, yeah, by far.
I think he could go number one overall.
I hope
don't think
Baltimore
anyone would be
doesn't
mad.
pick him.
I'll watch it happen.
What's
that's
Baltimore
what they
pick?
need.
Devontae Smith, Green Bay Packers.
They have two Devontaes, and they're both
I know,
sick.
right? Devontae Adams and Devontae
Cleveland.
Smith.
If he fall, he won't fall that far. Never mind.
No, Cleveland's got a late round pick.
Yeah.
But no, there's that Bama team. I was watching that game, and Bama was kicking our rear end, and I was just like, I'm not mad at this.
What?
We beat Clemson. That's what I wanted.
Did you kind of expect what you saw, or?
I expected it to be a little closer. I didn't think it was going to be kind of the runaway. But once I saw, I haven't really watched a ton of Bama football this year.
Trey Sermon went out, didn't he?
He got injured on the second play.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And that happened. I was like, man, that takes away the running game. That's a huge part of it. Even if he was there, I don't think we're winning.
It would have been somewhat closer.
Might have been closer. But that Bama team was just ridiculous. They started running plays, and I'm just like, ooh, we don't have the speed. That team's so fast, so strong, a great offensive line, and it didn't really seem to matter. I was like, no team that was going up against him was going to touch him.
And
plain and simple.
He wasn't a huge impact, and they had Jalen Waddle back.
Waddle was back.
You had Jalen Waddle, Smith, Mac Jones.
Don't forget about the other guy.
Najee Harris.
But they have another wide receiver out there who's just as good. Not as Smith, but as Waddle.
I know who you're talking about.
I can't think of his name, though.
But then on defense, Patrick Surtain, they were...
He's not a senior. He hosts Billingsley.
Yeah. I mean, Bama won that game without ever going to a tight end.
Yeah, right.
I think tight ends may have had 3 receptions in that game. And keep in mind, Devontae Smith got injured before the half. He played one half of football. Had 7 receptions for 145 yards.
Was it his hand or something, or his arm or something?
Yeah, his hand, I think. Yeah.
And he still won MVP.
Right, and you know what? All credit to Bama. I don't have an issue with Ohio State's performance.
They beat
all
Clemson.
Credit to Bama. Nick Saban, in my opinion, greatest head coach of all time.
He's got to be up there.
No, I'm just saying all time.
No, I'm saying all time, but for people that are haters and he's hate to break it to you, but he's in the conversation. Yeah. He's him and
who?
He's there.
Who else is in that conversation with him?
Bill.
Bear Bryant, maybe. But he just passed him in titles.
Bryant. Yeah.
Saban now has everything better than Bryant. Because Bryant, going into this, I kind of always held Bear Bryant in that established, that's the guy. That is the cream of the crop. And I saw a post the other day of when everything was going down, Saban, his records and stuff, and I just went, no, Saban's better than this guy. I had no idea.
He just does it year after year.
Right. I was, before the game, I was searching about Saban. And I happened to search about Bear Bryant, too, and I saw they both had the same amount of championships. I'm like, oh, boy.
That's about to change.
If he wins, he'll be in the lead. And that just popped up on the TV after I saw it.
If you just look at all the stats that Saban has collected
the teams he's had, the guys he's had, it's just...
And people want to say, it's easy to be the best coach when you have the best players. That's part of college football is getting the best players to come to your school.
It's different
He's
than
built
the
up the
pros.
reputation, brought in the coordinators, because that's all the head coach's job. The head coach's job is not just to call plays on the field. It is to bring in the players, the coaches, the training staff, to make you a successful program, and he's done that better than anybody else.
That's the difference. It's all over the country. They have to look at all these guys. The NFL, I mean, yeah, you kind of look when you're drafting and you talk to the GM when you're making trades and free agency.
But you're not going to some kid's house and talking to his mom, being like, "Hey,
exactly.
I want your kid to come to my university,
and
put his livelihood on the line to maybe play for me someday."
Right.
Because the NFL is, "Hey, you want to come on our team?" I'm like, sure, why not? I'm getting paid $3 million. I don't care.
That's just what it is. I mean, and you only have a select group of people to talk to in the NFL. You're going all over the country to recruit these guys.
Right.
And Saban just does it year after year, and they just get studs. And it's next year they're going to look just as good. I mean, people thought this was going to be a bridge year with Mac Jones.
Right. Mac Jones proved it, and now they got a 5-star Bryce Young quarterback, #1 prospect in the country, who had 1 year sitting behind Mac Jones, now has the championship ring, coming back with loads of talent on that offense still.
They're not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
Nope.
Bryce Young is going to destroy the SEC. I wouldn't even be surprised if Bryce Young wins the Heisman this coming season, but 2, if this team is back in the college football championship, winning it by a dozen points.
What about
this next season?
What about that Buckeyes new quarterback coming in? He should be good too.
The Buckeyes have unbelievable amounts of talent coming in this season too.
What's his name?
And
What's his
the
name?
entire wide receiver core is back.
Yeah, Chris Olave.
Chris Olave said he's back. So
Yes,
it's going to be Olave, Wilson, Fleming, Jameson, and they got the other #1 overall wide receiver of this year's class coming in. Plus, they also have, I believe, the #1 running back coming in. It's Travion Henderson. So the running back room is loaded for Ohio State. The Buckeyes, they have C.J. Stroud, Jack Miller, and I think one other guy, all in competition for the starting job. And we know what happens when Ohio State has 3 guys that can win a national championship. Buckeyes did it last time out. With Cardale, JT, and Braxton Miller in the quarterback room. I'm not saying it's the same. Keep in mind, Joe Burrow was also in that quarterback room, too.
Yes.
Right. And he went elsewhere.
He went elsewhere to win. Keep in mind, he was in that room at some point with all those guys.
Yeah.
So, we know what happens to Ohio State when they're loaded up.
And they're in the Big Ten, and they've been the standard for how long in the Big Ten?
Just go back to the last time Ohio State really had the loaded wide receiver room with Michael Thomas, Evan Spencer. That group was so amazing that one of Evan Spencer threw a touchdown pass to Michael Thomas against Alabama. That's how loaded the room was. The last time it was probably this loaded as it is now.
Yeah.
We don't know if any of those guys are going to be Michael Thomas-esque in terms of how they translate to the NFL, but we know Olave is now, and he's amazing. Garrett Wilson is Odell Beckham of the Ohio State football team. The guy can catch it anywhere. Although, I did watch a lot of games last year. He touches the ball, it moves in his hands, then he catches it. In this offseason, he's got to work on that hand strength.
Controlling it, right.
Hand strength. Big thing, and I know they're going to emphasize it.
Could become like a
They didn't
Chris
have the
Carter.
offseason this past year or so. They didn't all have all those days to get into it. Then with everything that happened, I was like, all right, next season out, Garrett Wilson, I want to see those sticky hands with him. That's what I want from him.
Could be like Chris Carter, who also went to Ohio State. That guy caught everything.
Ted Ginn Jr., same with him, too. But Jameson Williams really came into his own in the last half of the season. Love him. He's going to be back. Fleming didn't really have the freshman season that everyone thought he might have, being the #1 recruit out of, I think, Pennsylvania. This season, I'm looking for something big out of him. Obviously, we'll talk about all this a couple months down the line. Yeah. College football, actually high school football is what I'm thinking of. They got their season moved up 1 week, too, as well. No, it should be interesting.
No.
I thought you were going
to. And Haskell Garrett's returning for the Buckeyes, too, on the defensive side.
Who?
Haskell Garrett's the guy that got shot in the mouth.
Was it the Clemson game?
No. I think he had a few sacks in that game.
I didn't hear about this.
What? No, Haskell Garrett.
Who got lit up in the
last
Clemson
game? Last spring, got shot through the mouth. Had surgery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Had surgery. Came back this season. This guy was playing less than 6 months after being shot in the face.
I didn't even know that.
And was probably the first or second best defensive lineman of Ohio State this year. And he came back.
Is Borland returning?
I think he's a senior.
Oh, man.
I think most of the linebacker core is gone.
That's a big dude. Yeah. He's small. He's short. That's a
big
guy. Yeah.
Right. Tough boy. Pete Warner, Baron Browning. I know Baron Browning.
Whoever gets him in the NFL, I hope he'll get
he can be like a Joe Schobert type player. That's
who
he always reminded me of.
whoever drafts him is going to get a good player.
Or Clay Matthews.
Yeah, man.
That's a guy no one's talked about in a while.
Yeah,
I was thinking of
AJ
AJ Hawk, and he played with him on the Packers.
Is Clay Matthews still in the league?
No, I think he retired 2 years ago.
He was with the Rams.
Yeah,
oh, you know what?
He might have retired last year.
I think he retired, but he was on the Rams last. You're right about that.
The year the Rams went to the Super Bowl,
he was there. I know that.
But yeah, Ohio State's got a lot of guys. What have we heard out of Penn State? Anybody?
To be honest, I haven't cut up the recruiting class.
Okay.
I heard they did pretty well.
They didn't do very well in the recruiting, but they picked up a lot of transfer guys. They got a good running back.
I saw a video yesterday. Did you see that video of Will Levis throwing the ball? That guy's a freaking cannon.
Yeah, but he has.
And he only threw 4 times last year.
Right.
So
yeah, he's being used as your mobile quarterback, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe give this guy a shot. You can't get any worse.
I can't wait to see him. He has a cannon.
We have.
He needs work on accuracy, though.
He does. He puts it on a dime.
We have that Robertson too. That will be good. Robertson.
Right. I'm excited to see Levis.
You guys got like the running back position for this coming season.
They're pretty.
They
good
got that transfer guy. I forget. I'm looking.
They're usually the last couple of years, ever since somewhat before Saquon and after he left, they've been pretty balanced at running back.
The former Baylor running back John Lovett is starting running back at Baylor. 1,803 career rushing yards, will join Penn State's roster as a graduate transfer.
I mean, they got some holes to fill out there, losing guys like, Parsons and Freiermuth, but I don't know. I haven't kept up with the recruiting class, so I don't know how well it went, but we'll see. I mean, Ohio State's got a lot of guys coming back, so you got to.
And I'm not going to lie when I'm telling you right now, Ohio State might have one of the best running back rooms in college football.
They definitely do.
Because Trey Sermon, I think, is the only one leaving. I haven't heard about Master Teague.
I feel like he's been there for a while.
What about that Steel Chambers dude?
I'm gonna get to him in a minute. Why is this not telling me what year he is?
Well, we have the Dotson. Mike, let's keep talking about Penn State.
Master Teague's only a sophomore.
Coming back. Okay.
He's what?
Master Teague's only a sophomore.
I feel like he's been there for a long time.
So he'll be a junior this coming season. So he's not even eligible to leave. So the Buckeyes running back room will be, if my phone wants to load, gosh, Master Teague, DeMario McCall. Actually, wait, I think McCall's leaving. I think he's a senior. So it'll be Master Teague, Mayan Williams, Steel Chambers, Xavier Johnson, Mitch Rossi, Marcus Crowley, Robert Cope, and Travion Henderson, the number 1 recruit.
Deep running back class.
So especially considering like earlier this season, the Buckeyes were down to their last 2 running backs on that roster.
Yeah.
And they just ended up getting a couple guys rolling in.
And it worked.
I mean, Mayan Williams had some good runs against Clemson and even a few against Alabama.
Yeah.
That kind of keeps Buckeye fans waiting for more. Steel Chambers, everyone's been waiting for him to pop off. Now that Trey Sermon and McCall are gone, those were really the speed backs, I feel like, for Ohio State. And
Trey
Buckeyes
Sermon
love
definitely
the
was.
speed backs.
Yeah.
Because Master Teague's been that interior guy. I mean, he's
a physical guy.
Right. He's the Carlos Hyde running back style that Buckeyes have been running behind forever. But then you get the guy every now and then. It seems like Curtis Samuel, DeMario McCall, Sermon, guys like that.
So it just falls into there.
And Jalen Marshall kind of fit that role too a few years back. They're kind of playing almost like this flex position of running back, wide receiver. Wherever they want to put him, he can play there. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to have to fill that spot. I'm thinking it might be Mayan Williams because he's got a lot of speed. Then we'll see if Travion Henderson, all realistically, could get redshirted.
Yeah.
In his first season, just because of how many guys are there.
That
he can play 4 games and still get that redshirt, so he can get that experience.
He can still
a couple
get some
of games.
time, yeah.
And
that says it all. They're not going anywhere in the Big Ten.
No,
at least not in the next couple
Big
years.
Ten. I got a feeling number 1 next year is going to be Ohio State.
Definitely.
I'm interested to see how Indiana does though after this.
I want to see how
season.
they bounce back. Yeah.
And then probably the biggest team I'm looking for next season is Cincinnati without Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, that's
because Ridder will be graduating. He's kind of been the heart and soul of that team. Who does Luke Fickell bring in finally to be that quarterback there? What can he do?
But they have their foundation now.
Right. They got the foundation. They got the program. They got the recognition. They almost pulled it off against Georgia. Who can Luke Fickell bring in this coming season to really stand out?
We'll have to see. I mean, I don't know who they have lined up, but hopefully they have somebody as good or just as good as Desmond Ritter.
Right.
Like you said, that was their guy. And
that's the hardest thing for a small school like Cincy to do.
Yeah.
Bring in somebody else. I mean, you saw it with
Group
UCF.
of 5.
You saw it with UCF after their quarterback, Mackenzie Milton.
Milton, yeah.
Mackenzie Milton, after he was gone, I don't want to say slumped. They've been all right.
They're still hanging
but they
around.
weren't the undefeated teams that
when he was there. Yeah.
When he was there. I mean, they've been all right, but it's nothing like when he was there. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to those small schools. You got one guy that starts popping off, like BYU probably won't be anything without Zach Wilson next year.
Yeah.
Just because that guy was incredible.
It's just some of these smaller teams that just have 1 year runs, and that's
right.
It just happens. I mean, it's hard for guys.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Cincinnati's been up there now for a few years in a row.
They've built
with Desmond Ritter at the helm, though.
Yeah. So we'll see who they can find, and they'll be able to sustain.
That's probably the biggest team though that I'm looking for next season
to see how they respond. Right.
And then obviously we're gonna have to look for the bounce back of LSU.
Bounce backs of big teams like LSU, Penn State. I don't know who else.
Michigan
too.
Michigan now. Jim Harbaugh's been renewed for another 4 years, I believe it was, at half the price.
Yeah, he got a pay cut though.
I want to see
he got half. He was at $8 million a year. Now he's at $4 million. He got chopped in half.
Well,
good.
Yeah,
if you're gonna keep him around, don't pay that guy $8 million to lose to Ohio State every year.
That's the thing right there. They can go undefeated, but if they don't beat Ohio State, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for Michigan.
Doesn't matter at all.
Like any other team in the country, would probably like Florida. They'd probably be okay going undefeated, losing to Bama or Georgia every year. Because that's what it is now. They don't. As long as you know that's your one loss, cool. We're a one-loss SEC team. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Big Ten and you're Michigan, and you have to go out there and beat Ohio State. That's not going to cut it.
And I want to see how it's like teams that were good this year respond next year after losing some guys. Like,
can Northwestern stay consistent? Because they had a good season, they dropped off. Now they're back there. Can they go back to? Can they keep that status now?
Yeah, and even Florida losing Kyle Trask and Pitts.
Right.
So I want to see how they bounce back losing two guys like them. And like I said, I want to see how teams like big names, household names in college football that had down years last year bounce back, like LSU, Penn State, Michigan. I know I'm forgetting some. Michigan. I know there's other ones I'm forgetting, but
one team actually surprisingly looking at Clemson. No, Travis Etienne is gone and Trevor Lawrence is gone. Obviously, they're going to have the guys to replace him, but no one's touching Etienne.
No,
he's probably the best running back in the class. Maybe next to Najee Harris. Those guys are probably pretty even, but Etienne's been doing it for a few years now.
I mean, they might fall off a little bit, but the ACC is pretty much theirs to lose because Notre Dame's not going to be in it next year because they were just in it for the 1 year.
And we'll see how Notre Dame does, or maybe they decide to stay in the ACC.
You know what? I would like to see them stay.
Doing it.
I would like to see them stay in there.
Right, and then we'll see DJ Uiagalelei, I believe.
Sorry for mispronouncing
it.
But it's kind of hard to say.
It's DJ Uiagalelei. I think that's how they kept saying it.
Yeah, something like that.
On ESPN this season. We'll see how he does. Lots to look out for, though. And obviously, we'll get a lot more names coming up once we get past the draft, once we get all the way to the next season.
Do some more research on some of the guys coming in. And
right.
We'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting.
Anybody know when the NFL draft is?
It's April.
It's always in April. Is it still virtual this year? I don't know if they come out and said that.
It's going to be in Cleveland.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's in Cleveland this year, but I don't know if they're... Hopefully they have, the guys there so they can walk across the stage. But
NFL draft is April 29th through May 1st.
Okay.
So that'll be actually one of our last shows of the semester.
So we'll kind of have more of an idea of
break,
college football ones.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it'll be one of the last ones because our end of the semester is after the May 3rd show, which will be the draft recap.
Yeah, early May.
Okay.
So we'll talk about everything that happens in the draft at the very end, at the very beginning of May. That'll be the end of it, and then we'll probably take a few weeks off, guessing, because nothing really happens after the NFL draft. Besides MLB for a few months, but that's pretty much all.
They open up, but at the beginning it's kind of boring, and then the NBA playoffs, but they'll be late this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a few weeks behind, but now
I think those are set to take place around June, at the moment.
The playoffs or the finals?
NBA.
Yeah, because the finals are going to be
March
late,
will be a big month. So
yeah, it will. Stay tuned. We got a lot of things coming up.
March Madness back, hopefully.
Right. We got some things planned for that.
No, they probably won't be.
No.
Who?
Penn State.
You guys don't think so?
They've had a lot of games canceled though.
What's Penn State's record right now?
They're like 1 or 2 games under 500, but they beat Rutgers the other night.
They're playing Ohio State, I think, Wednesday.
Good luck.
Are they?
Buckeyes just beat Wisconsin.
Buckeyes are good this year.
Ooh, Buckeyes, man.
They could be a problem.
Michigan.
E.J. Liddell.
Oh, Buckeyes.
He's huge too.
Yeah.
It's like he just kind of popped out.
I can't remember who they were playing, but the one game I watched earlier in the season, he impressed me.
He's got a lot of upside. I don't know what he'll probably be kind of like Keta Bates Diop, Jared Sullinger. Oh man, who was the guy who kept talking about last season?
That played last season?
Yeah. Who didn't get drafted? But I kept saying he'd be a second round steal.
What's his name? I know who you're talking
about. It's a big center that can shoot the ball
Yeah.
a bunch.
Caleb
Wesson.
Yeah. Caleb Wesson.
I don't think Andrew Wesson's even done much for the Buckeyes this season.
Did he get on to the Warriors?
Yeah, that's who got picked up by the G League affiliate.
How about
I'm looking at the Big
Mark
Ten.
Stevens? Couple plays. He's still on the team. Like he
is. He was playing while they were injured.
I think Penn State could still realistically make the.
They still could. Where's their record at? I'm trying to find it.
5-6 overall.
And then you have Ohio State coming up.
I think they're playing. Wednesday.
Wednesday. I knew it. Yeah.
Where was their? I think they beat Rutgers the other night.
But right now, it's looking like the Big Ten could have around 10 teams in March Madness.
Yeah, they beat Rutgers last Thursday.
We'll talk about it. Man, the teams right now, Gonzaga is good. Michigan.
Baylor's good.
Iowa's
Baylor,
good.
Michigan, Iowa. Iowa got blown out by Gonzaga, though.
Yeah, was that early
Nova's
one?
up
That was
there.
early. No, Villanova, man. I'm
and
happy
don't
they're
forget
back.
about my least favorite team, Michigan.
Yeah,
They're
They always
fourth
stick
right
around
now.
in that college
They're fourth.
basketball.
They're 13-1 right now, 10-0 at home.
Nobody talks about them that much during the season, but you should because they're always there.
Right.
But yeah, about Penn State, they beat Rutgers that one night, then they beat Northwestern, so they have back-to-back Big Ten wins. So that's good
how
to get
about
themselves
Pitt
back in.
right now? Let's talk about Pitt basketball. They're good.
Are they?
Yeah, they. I don't know if
They're
they
not
beat Wake
ranked.
Forest. I don't know if. Well,
I don't know where they're
they've
at.
lost
but
2 games.
they're like 4-1
They
in the
beat
ACC.
Duke the other night.
Pitt is 8-3 right now.
8-3. So did they beat Wake Forest?
I'm pulling it up.
Did they lose?
They lost to Wake Forest
They lost!
76-75. 1 point game.
Oh god!
So I think they're like 4-2 or 4-1 in the in the ACC. So they're
and
pretty
I've
good
been
conference
keeping
play.
tabs.
Yeah.
I've been keeping tabs as of Sunday. Loyola Chicago.
That's your team, man.
They're 11-3.
Oh man,
Let's
they're
get
making
back
another run.
in.
Sister Jean, second time
She's
round.
like 104. Dude, I want them in again so bad. It was so fun watching them. I remember it was my freshman year of college. And I went and got Hot Heads food. I got 2 chicken bowls. I sped home. I'm 40 minutes away. I was going 70 because I wanted to get home and watch the game. And in that I ate one of them. That was full, and I started eating the other one close to the end of the game. And it hit one of those last second shots to win the game.
Yeah.
There goes the bowl all over the carpet.
It was like the popcorn bowl.
I'm like, come on!
This time chicken and rice everywhere.
Get your hot heads ready.
Nobody was there. No, my dad wasn't there. I was just by myself, so I cleaned it up.
Why don't we talk about our conference for a second? Youngstown State's 8-8 right now. Cleveland State's looking good. They're 10-5. Wright State's 11-4. Youngstown State's only 4-8 in conference, but they're 8-8 overall.
They were
Darius hasn't been playing.
Right.
We have a class when he hasn't been coming to class because didn't he have COVID?
He might be in quarantine.
He might be in quarantine.
Maybe contact
I remember
tracing or.
He was in one of the group. He was in class during a video call, and I shouted out to him. We got to get him on the show sometime, or maybe
call him out.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, are you gonna lead us some March Madness? He's like, oh man, I'm gonna try real hard.
I watched them They were on ESPN a few weeks ago against Wright State.
Yeah.
They looked pretty good in that
game.
They
beat Wright State the first game, then they got
that was the one
the
I was watching.
Game.
They had a big lead. They kind of came back, but they pulled away at the end.
Yeah.
Were able to
Then they got blown
usually
out 93-55 the next night.
The next night, yeah.
Man, if they get in and play like number 3
I just want to see him.
I just want to see him in. Dude, I'd go. I'd like to go.
Well,
we can't
probably
this year,
can't this season,
Probably
but
not.
it'd be cool. Because between Nasmo Hannon and Darius Quisenberry, it's got a good group.
They have most of their guys
and
from last
also
year.
with I forget his name.
Well, we got Kenny Ganley.
I keep naming him.
Here's the
it's coming.
Michael Achi.
No.
I've heard.
Keep scrolling. Covington. Garrett Covington is good.
Is that the guy that can hit threes that never plays?
No, it's not him.
that's
not him.
No, I know who you're talking about.
I know who you're talking about, but I think he's. Yeah,
Man,
it's not him,
we can't go to any of those games. Football season, YSU football is going to be starting soon. Have we found out about it?
We have not found out if fans are allowed yet. but it's going to start February 19th through the 21st that weekend.
If there aren't fans in, we're going.
They
I'm sitting in the freezing cold. I'm going.
Well,
It's ice casual. I'm going.
Well, they start off.
We're going shirtless too.
They start off in North Dakota State.
Their first one, yeah.
Yeah. Then they come back and what they play. Oh man.
Well, serious question, Al, because I'm not sure. Is Trey Lance able to play for North Dakota?
Trey Lance is already opted out.
So he's done.
He's done officially.
I didn't know that if it carried over or not, but.
Yeah, yes, if he wanted to, he could have played, but he declared for the draft. He pulled out early.
Yeah, before they announced it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to one of those.
I'm going. I'll go to the first.
10 degrees outside in the ice castle. They're probably
you guys want to talk for a second? I'm looking at YSU's
Mike, you want to go back?
Tickets.
I was looking at the recruiting class for Penn State. We just picked up that 4-star receiver, Meke Flowers.
They're pretty good at receiver. They still have Dotson.
Dotson will be. I like Dotson. The running back room. Oh man, that I like the pickup and love it. But who's that other guy? Kane. Will he be coming back?
I want to say yes, but don't quote me on that.
Man's coughing over here.
Are you looking something up over there?
So I got the spring home schedule. On February 27th, they're taking Northern Illinois on at home. Then March 6th, Southern Illinois. March 20th, South Dakota. And 27th, North Dakota.
Oh, wow.
So those are the home games. They are planning to sell some tickets, $20 each. You can buy them in blocks of 2, 3, or 4.
So we're students, though.
Yeah.
I know, so that doesn't... We don't really know about the student yet.
What they've said yet on that, but... Be nice to get in there.
We'll find out.
It'd be nice to get in.
I think we know some people inside the programs that we can talk to.
Maybe you can sneak us in there. I'd love to go.
Our buddy has an uncle that works in the athletic department.
Right, yeah. We'll find a way in. You'll see us on ESPN 3, the only 3 fans over in the student section.
We'll have
With the wig on.
One at the 20, one at the 50, one at the other 20, just 3 guys.
Mike will have the
Look
Y on his chest. Mike will have the Y on his chest, I'll have the S, and you have the U. He'll be -10, we'll be
Oh, yeah. Rock hard nipples in the snow. Love it.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Let's do it. Why not? What's the worst that could happen?
We'll freeze it.
We need something to cheer about in person, live, because we haven't been able to do it.
Right. All right, Mike, what else you got for us?
Well, since we were kind of going into the draft a little bit, you want to go NFL?
Yes.
All right, we'll talk NFL. I think
we're
we're still way off from the draft. Let's talk NFL.
Unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills have been eliminated. If they would have made it, Mike and I would be breaking tables.
We had an idea.
We were going to break tables to make our predictions.
Were we going to do it on the show, or were we going to record it?
We were going to record it.
I would have posted it to YouTube, but
we'd put it somewhere.
Yeah.
We're definitely going
to. It would have been up everywhere, but...
Yeah.
And then if the Packers had made it, I was going to eat a wheel of cheese.
The 2 teams I wanted to win yesterday didn't win.
I know, right?
Well, I wanted Tampa, but...
Well, you're a loser.
I didn't want Kansas City.
Because I wanted to see Brady versus Buffalo, and that would have been awesome.
Yeah, right. The ultimate revenge game for Buffalo. Finally getting their revenge on Tom Brady after
20
decades.
years of frustration. Just building up inside.
Well, there's a couple things I look for when it's championship weekend, and I want to see who I want in the Super Bowl. Number one, the teams that are there that are the most likable. Who hasn't been there often, opposed to who has been there more often.
Well, the Buccaneers haven't been there often.
They haven't.
The Packers have been to the championship game often, just never to the Super Bowl.
Listen, here's a stat for you. Ooh. How many NFC championship games has Rodgers been to?
5.
How many has he won?
1.
How many has Tom Brady been to?
8.
NFC championship.
1.
6. And how many has he won?
1.
Oh, NFC, yeah. I thought you were talking about overall.
That was in total. I was like, wait, was he
Rodgers has been there
17
since,
or something like
Rodgers has been there since 2005. We'll go with that.
How many conference championship games has he been in? Like at least over 10.
I remember they were
in like 8 straight one
They
time.
were in the one 6 years ago, 2014 against Seahawks, and Seahawks came back and made the
Super Bowl.
They made an unbelievable comeback in the end of the game.
So can I pose this question to you guys? Because everyone's like, I think right now Tom Brady's undisputed GOAT now.
It's easy
He's
to
kind of done it all.
I don't think
but everyone's always talked about, Rodgers has always been the number 2 guy behind him.
No.
Well, shut up. Let me talk. Everyone's like, oh, Rodgers, he's the best guy that only, has the 1 ring. How much can we really talk about this guy being one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it? He's one of the best quarterbacks statistically, but he's never accomplished anything. Besides, he has the one
why do
Super
you
Bowl,
think?
and he's
Like,
made
why?
it to the NFC.
Why do you think why it's been that way?
Well,
That he hasn't been able to have.
He's not going to accomplish
He doesn't show up
anything
in
playing
big
the way
games.
he did last night.
Well, there you go. Because I was going to
Yesterday.
go where he went last night. You know, you talk about that
Yesterday,
or whatever.
Yeah, not last night.
You talk about that call, not kicking the field goal, not going for the touchdown. That third down, he should have ran it in the end zone. He had
Yeah.
He had the
Clear as day.
space.
Clear as
He had
day.
the space. They would have engaged him, but I mean, I think he would have got in there. And
I think he would have got tackled at the 4 or 5 because you look. I think
But they
it
would
was,
have got closer though.
yeah.
What was it? Petit. Well, who's the one defensive lineman for Tampa Bay? It's
Devin White?
no.
No.
It's the one that has like 2 last names.
Pierre Paul.
Pierre Paul. Pierre Paul was right behind him. He runs it. He's probably getting 4 or 5 yards, getting
He
tackled.
would have got tackled at least inside of 3.
But it makes it a lot more reasonable instead of going for a 4th and 10. Rather go 4th
But
and
here's
5.
the thing, and this is why so many people on like big talk shows this morning were so upset. You kicked the field goal, you thought you were gonna have a chance to get the ball back and drive it down quickly.
You didn't.
Aaron Rodgers didn't get a chance to get the ball back again.
Because
And
it's Tom
if
Brady.
you don't get that 4th down and it's an 8-point deficit, at least you had your best on
And
the
here's
field.
the
If he
thing.
didn't get it, then he has to live with it.
And here's
Right.
the thing. Packers should have won that game. Brady had 3 turnovers
Right.
in the second
You
half.
want to talk about that bomb before the end of the half by Brady to Scotty
Yeah.
Miller? That
Can we
can't
talk about
happen.
Tom Brady's deep ball? Apparently he has one now.
Where did it come from?
Where did it
He has
come
good
from?
wide receivers for once in his career that can actually run downfield.
But where did these
Yeah.
deep balls come from? And Scotty Miller's a
He's
deep
never
ball threat.
thrown deep.
No.
Tom
yeah.
Brady's always been the 5-yard check down guy and running slants all
Yeah.
day. Michael Thomas would have worked great in the, Patriots offense for the past 10 years, because he's always thrown the intermediate, medium routes, never really been a slinger. And then with this game we're watching, I was just like, that's another downfield pass. What?
It's a bomb, too.
Right.
To Scotty Miller, I think Scotty Miller's their deep ball threat. Because Godwin and Mike Evans are their best
And Antonio
receivers.
Brown didn't even play.
And he
No.
wasn't even in there right.
He will be, though. He'll be in the
Those guys are all the best receivers, but Scotty Miller's a guy that can just sneak by and get down deep.
Yeah. I
That
think,
you don't even
there's so
know.
many other weapons on the offense he kind of gets forgotten about sometimes.
Yeah.
So he can just kind of slip past, get one-on-one, and the safety is somewhere else looking at the 3 other guys that will really hurt you, and then you end up going to the guy that's least expected.
That right
And
there.
then they can't forget about Gronk, too, because he had a few good catches, too.
Yeah, he did.
And you can never forget about him in a championship ball game.
And
No.
also look at the running game. They had, Leonard Fournette and I can't.
Really carried the rock.
Who's
there.
the other-
Ronald Jones
Ronald
Jr.
Ronald Jones Jr. as well.
I think they got another guy back there, too.
Yeah, they do. I forget
To
his
me,
name.
I think that mishap at the end of the first half was bigger than what happened at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Because that just
The Packers
that made
defense
them-
let up too much.
It did. And King got beat up pretty
Their
bad.
defense is great too. With guys you mentioned, Jason Pierre-Paul. I think Ndamukong Suh's on that
Yeah.
team. Devin White is good. So
I'm forgetting somebody.
I know there's somebody else.
But yeah, that to me was more impactful. I mean, that was momentum going right into the locker room. Then they come out flat, they turn it over, and then Tampa Bay gets another touchdown.
The best thing I'm happy about with this game, they did it without Antonio Brown. That's kind of like, because when they brought him in, it was like, really? This
Do they
guy's
even
going to
need
be
him?
allowed to play after everything that's happened? They're going to let him? So I'm glad that they got to the Super Bowl without Antonio Brown being there. It kind of makes me feel better about it.
We'll talk more about the Super Bowl next week when it gets more recent.
Yes.
Right. And we'll know who's playing and who's injured. What's Patrick Mahomes' injuries look like? Because those are starting to add up
I
between
know.
the concussion that he supposedly no longer has
And
after
deal
4
with turf
days.
toe, too.
yeah.
And turf toe that miraculously popped up out of nowhere.
Nobody even knew about. But
Right? It's just like, I think they almost made that. No, I don't want to say it as an excuse, but it's like, oh, he's got turf toe. No, he still has a concussion. They just said turf toe because he can play with a turf toe, not a concussion.
Yeah. So
I wanna
it must
talk-
be okay. Like you said, he was able to play, but go ahead, Matt.
I want to talk about very, I want to say inspiring performance. Even though he had a broken leg, Cole Beasley still played in that game yesterday. He still produced.
He
too.
said it wasn't a total break. He broke his fibula.
Yeah, he broke
But
his
he's
fibula.
definitely a
But
tough
still,
guy.
what a
He's
tough
always
dude.
tough.
He was on Dallas forever. Romo was talking about him. Romo talks about everything, though. But I'm not going to go in on that.
Mm-hmm. We won't
Yeah.
talk about specifics.
Yes.
But yeah, Cole Beasley's always been a tough guy. And playing through that
Cole
yesterday.
Beasley.
I thought the Bills did all right,
Cole
but
Beasley's-
no one was touching the Chiefs.
Bills are going to be back.
No. Bills will be back.
They
Did you
will be
see
back.
Diggs watching the celebration? Oh, man, they're coming back.
Oh,
Mafia.
please, that was for the cameras. Everyone does it in every game now.
no.
It's not even a thing anymore.
No, I'm not
And
saying
people-
it's that.
And people are like, oh man, he's the only guy out there. As one of the pictures shows, one of his teammates crying on the bench next to him.
Really?
Diggs wasn't the only one out there. There's literally a guy 5 feet to his right.
Was there?
5 feet to his right.
Was there?
Crying on the bench. And everyone only wants to talk about Diggs because nobody knows who the other guy is because you can't see his
He's
numbers.
just there crying, yeah.
Yeah. But nobody pictures this guy sitting next to Diggs, basically.
But I'm not saying because...
There he is!
Yeah,
I didn't even
there's a guy
notice
sitting
him!
on the
Who
bench.
is that?
Let me see it.
You can't see his number.
It's gonna restart. He's there. From a glance, it looked like Edmonds.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Don't
a
even
guy-
saw it.
It's like, who cares? They do it for the media nowadays. It's like, oh, Diggs is going to be the big guy next year. Shut up.
Well, I'm not saying because of that. I'm just saying the Bills
Diggs is
are...
going to be the big guy.
But the Bills will definitely be back.
How about
I think-
can we talk about this trade? That probably one of the most even trades in NFL history. Justin Jefferson for Stephon Diggs. That worked out perfectly for both sides. I
They
feel
did.
like.
You got a receiver for Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah.
You got
Buffalo's
the receiver in
getting ready to start
Minnesota,
getting
the
into
one
it
that
now,
has a
though.
lot more to build on, and they got Diggs to Buffalo because they needed one now.
Yeah.
And Justin Jefferson had the chance to mature this season that he might not have on the Bills. Because the Bills needed somebody that could perform immediately, and they
And
couldn't
Diggs
really
did
take
that.
the time. And
The
Diggs was able to
connection,
do
the
that.
connection with Diggs and Allen,
And he will continue to do
their
that.
defense
Right.
is good. They have a decent running game.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. And
No.
they actually have their coach now with Sean McDermott.
Yes.
Um,
I think they need a running back. The running back they have, oh man, I've been talking about him all yesterday, and I forget his name now. He went to Alabama.
Devin Singletary?
No, he went to Alabama. TJ Yeldon.
Oh.
Phenomenal at Alabama, and he's good there. They don't run him enough. They run Singletary.
A lot
They
of
throw
teams
it a
haven't
lot.
been running a lot this
Yeah.
in the playoffs. No one's running the football.
And why you?
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Allen. I mean, he's still young. He's not that accurate
Yeah,
yet.
He's got accuracy issues.
he has
Yeah.
the arm though.
He has the
He
cannon,
has the
but he can't put it on
cannon.
target.
You can't put it
Yeah,
on
right.
target. So you need to have that running game as well, and that's something the Bills back in the '90s had. They didn't just have Jim Kelly; they had Thurman Thomas. And
Yeah.
even Ken Davis was good.
But can we talk about what quarterback has probably had to face a more difficult opposing quarterback in every game of the playoffs than Tom Brady this year? Think he's had to face Aaron Rodgers,
Drew
Drew
Brees,
Brees, and then who did he
Who's the
face in
first
the first
time?
game? I don't
They played Washington, but
Washington.
Alex Smith didn't
Alex
play.
Smith, but
it
still,
wasn't
He didn't
Alex
play.
Smith. It was
Oh.
Heineke.
yeah.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke.
But like,
Who had a
think,
grip?
who else has had to face Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers on their way to winning, and now we'll have to face Mahomes?
And all three were on the road. Now they're playing at home.
No,
First team never played.
Mahomes will have to face Brady.
Right, and this is
not the other way
the ultimate
around.
passing of the torch
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Well,
Which
they were
we'll talk
talking-
about that storyline going next.
Well, here's
week.
another question. They were talking about I think it was on
This
First
has
Take
happened
morning.
before. This is sorry.
No, go
Mike. You can go ahead first.
No, go ahead.
You sure? All right.
Just talk.
Well, this has happened before. A young quarterback, they get their first Super Bowl. They got all the glamour and glory. Next year, they go to the Super Bowl, and Brady stops them. And you know who that was? Russell Wilson. And I was crying pretty badly.
Of course you were.
I
I'm
love
crying
Russell
on the
Wilson.
show.
Yeah.
There's
By one guy.
It's like that.
It's the one guy that keeps saying he's crying.
I'm like, what's that show with Roy Firestone back in the day where all those NFL players would go on and cry?
You're the only one that would know, Matt. You're the
Well, I
only
mean,
one that would
I
know because
just
I have
know.
no clue what you're talking about. I was born in 2000.
I mean, it was still going on in the
All right,
2000s.
Grandpa. Somebody get the man his newspaper and his nightly cup of coffee or something.
It was-
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk
it's
more
a-
Super Bowl stuff
it's
next.
almost-
next.
I forget what
It's
21
4 o'clock.
was. Let's
We
just
go
go.
to bed.
Yeah, where's the next early bird special, Matt? Huh? Mike, what's your next topic for us?
I was going to make a point, but I forget what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's just move on.
MLB?
You want to go NHL real quick? Because they got
Yeah.
underway. We haven't talked
Penguins
about them
have won 2 in a row. They've
One of
pretty
those,
good.
actually, aren't they 3 in a row now?
3 and
Four,
something.
no, they're 4 and
They
2,
started 0 and
I
2, I
think.
know
I think
that,
they're
but they-
4, 2 and 1. I think. I'm looking.
You're the guy that's supposed to know this. What the heck? They're 6. They're 4 and 2 right
4
now.
and 2.
Matt's our hockey guy.
Right?
They're,
And they're on a win streak of 4.
Yeah, 1 streak.
So they
or
started
4.
0 2, 1 4 in a row.
We
They
got
are-
Boston tomorrow night.
Currently second
Boston
in the East.
tomorrow. They are second in the East. They have 8 points, and Washington has 1 or 9 points.
Can I just talk about it? How does this keep happening? The Blue Jackets of Columbus are in second.
And
Somehow.
Chicago Blackhawks
man.
are they're tied for first actually.
The Penguins.
Oh, the
Or
Blue Jackets.
the Blue
yes,
Jackets.
Oh,
technically.
Blue I'm sorry.
And
But
the
Lightning's
Chicago
3-1
Blackhawks
Blue
are
Jackets are 2 and 2.
yeah. The Blackhawks are right behind them with 5 points. They pulled off 2 wins in a row.
Golden Knights are 5-1 too.
Yeah, things are still not interesting
Yeah,
yet.
that's
They
okay.
just started and
It's only what, third week now?
second or third or
Blackhawks.
something like that.
Blackhawks.
Because first week would have been the first show we were back. You weren't on. Second
We
week was
weren't here,
when we
yeah.
missed.
Last week.
Then this will be the third week of the NHL.
So, yeah, so we'll kind of monitor it when they get going. We just kind of want to touch base, see how the Penguins are doing. You have anything about the Penguins? How are they playing so far, you think?
They're playing.
Their defense
they
kinda
got
got
a
a
good
little
couple
better.
gritty
Choke it.
wins.
Yeah.
They had a shootout win
I watched
the other
that game.
night. Well, this was just the other night
Oh,
against
they
the
had a shootout
Rangers.
again?
Yeah, so they had 2 shootout
I saw the
wins.
first one against Washington.
Yeah,
That was their first one of the year. But how do you think their defense is playing? It's kind of better because towards the end last year wasn't that great.
It's getting there. Goaltending, they got to work on it. Tristan Jarry, God, Smith is doing okay, but Tristan Jarry.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why they were losing a lot of it. People just score more goals.
it's early. Teams will get it together. Penguins,
Yeah.
they have the experience. I mean, I know they're getting older, but they'll get it together, and we'll kind of keep you updated as we go because Matt's our hockey guy and our Penguin guy.
Yeah. Penguins. I like the Blackhawks too.
All right, baseball time.
A lot kind of going on.
A lot going on in baseball. I got a few recent stories. If you want to touch
Yeah.
on these first, then we'll get to everything you got going on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cactus League spring training for MLB. They've asked to delay the start of spring training due to COVID. Technically supposed to start, I believe, April 1st is spring training, or at least that's the regular season supposed to be around then.
Indians are in the Cactus League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they're in
Cactus League's
Arizona.
trying to delay it until then. Then I also had... Where'd it go? Oh, the MLB Players Association rejected the MLB proposal that would have installed a universal DH and expanded the playoffs.
I'm all for expanding the playoffs. I liked it last year.
But it has been denied.
Oh, jeez.
Uh-huh.
Are
Oh, I
they
didn't see that.
bringing back that extra innings rule
I'm
where they
looking
put the
into that
guy
right
on
now.
second base?
I hope they don't. I hated that rule. I couldn't
so
stand
much.
That was only supposed to be a one-season thing.
I hated
I
that.
hope, man. That sucked.
Yeah, last year was a good year to test that out because it was a shortened season, but
And nobody was watching
they
it
need to
anyway.
get rid of it. I hated it.
I remember I was watching one game. I forget what it was. It might have been Atlanta or somebody, but I don't know. It was extra innings, and they put one of their fastest guys on second and a base hit, and
It's
the guy
over.
was home
Yeah.
because he's fast.
I mean,
Okay, so with playoffs, we saw last season 14 teams made it. With this deal being denied, unless they can come to a new one, we'll go back to the 10-team format that we've had before as well.
I hope someday we're down the road they can expand it because I like how it was like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
It was cool. I mean,
It
it was
gave
kinda
teams
like the
that normally
NBA.
don't have a chance
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah, I mean, and some of them made a run. The Marlins won their first,
Right, and it
Yeah,
gave a chance
that
to a
was
team
cool.
like that.
you never know what can happen, especially in baseball. We say it all the time with the playoffs, but with more teams in it, you definitely don't know what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have anything else?
No, that's all for me.
Mike, we got a bunch of trades.
Just in terms of, we weren't here when they made the Lindor trade. You guys want to go with that?
I know. No.
No, we talked about the Lindor trade.
Did we?
Or I wasn't.
We did.
We
We
did.
did. We
Yeah.
did talk about
We were
it.
upset
Right,
about
I
him
mean, I
going to
wasn't
Mets.
here,
I want
Yeah.
to talk about it.
You guys, I mean, that return was obviously pretty weak, but I think we can all agree on that.
We'll see.
We'll see.
see.
It's still early,
They
but
got-
I mean, you know
I
what?
like
We
the-
all made the same criticisms back in,
They got
like,
that-
2007, 2010, when they completely cleared the roster of every fan favorite ever.
And the
From the
guys
two-
they,
from
the
the
2000s,
guys
they
they
did it all, and
traded
you know what?
for became the new fan favorites.
Right, they became
So-
the new fan favorites. That's how we got Mr. Smile, Kluber, everyone from that World Series team all came out of getting rid of that group, bringing in somebody new, and look, a decade later, we're doing the exact same thing.
and that's what teams like
I'm not worried.
the Indians and like
That's what we have to do.
everybody has to
You're
do
not
that.
signing big names. That's
No.
not what you do. You build through your
The farm teams.
You might get
And
lucky and
got
strike a
Josh
big deal on a
Naylor.
trade, but like
I'll
you're
talk
not.
about Cleveland
Yeah,
for
go
a sec. We got the Naylor brothers coming back. Bo Naylor, who's going to be a good catcher.
Right.
And Josh Naylor, who's shown splashes last year. Pretty good in the outfield. Still got our pitching. I mean, we had Bieber coming back. Tristan McKenzie's going to be good. I know we lost Brad Hand, but that guy
I had the pleasure of seeing McKenzie down at the Rubber Ducks.
Yeah.
And he was phenomenal.
I
yeah.
saw with the
there.
Rubber Ducks and I was with him when he was at the Scrappers.
Right.
I know we got a couple more guys I'm not thinking about right now.
Then there's the right fielder, most likely to start in the right field, actually, Daniel Johnson, who was
Daniel
actually
Johnson?
also at the Akron Rubber Ducks at the same time I
Yeah.
was when I worked there.
The two guys
At the
who
stadium.
picked up in the Mets trade, Rosario's good. I think it's for
There's a lot of young talent on the team, and they can
Ruby
definitely put
Ray.
together something.
No, they can, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah, I'm not going to say right away we're going to the playoffs,
Yeah.
but they do have Francona, a guy that
tends to make the
Yeah.
playoffs and has the best
Took
winning
Boston-
record in the past 5 years. So
Took Boston to the World Series a couple of times.
right.
Well, and this is
isn't
what
a World
teams-
Series
I know,
roster,
but
you
they-
say. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they could be. Who knows?
they could be.
You know, we have a few young guys. If they just decide to pop
I
off
don't
in the
know, that
rookie
one
year,
year-
go ahead.
That 2004 year, that Boston team wasn't really stacked, and they came in and
They
beat
really
a very
weren't, no.
they beat a very stacked Yankees team after being down 3-1.
But as you
Right.
said, Alec, like, this is
So-
what teams like the Indians and the Reds, and maybe not so much often, but the Pirates are in the same boat.
Oakland Athletics.
Oakland,
Even
like teams like
San
that.
Diego
They
Padres.
made a movie about it with Oakland.
Right, Moneyball.
Moneyball.
And
Having the lowest
Income.
payroll in baseball.
And that Red Sox team used that same strategy
Right.
to win that 2004
You're winning
World
by
Series.
playing numbers. Now, baseball is such a numbers game. If
Okay.
you know how to play numbers, you
On base
have
percentage.
a good chance.
and I know they take heat for this, and
On base percentage.
But because it's the same situation the Indians are in right now. I mean, I know they still have some good guys left and some
Yeah.
people you've heard of. But when the Pirates first got their new manager and their new GM, first thing I said was get rid of everybody and build up your farm system. And they're doing that. You got rid of Josh Bell, you got rid of Tyone, you got rid of Joe Musgrove, who I like Joe Musgrove. And
Musgrove to the Padres, right?
Musgrove, they probably got the best deal for.
Yeah.
They got 5 good prospects, and the Padres have a good
They
farm
got a
system.
couple good guys from the Yankees.
Yeah, but they're like not like. I mean, the one's
They're not
like
big
top
names.
10, but they're like not like.
I got a question for you guys. This one might be interesting. With all the recent moves by Cleveland, who do you think has the better season, Cleveland or the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Cleveland?
Cleveland, definitely.
Good.
The Pirates have no pitching. They got rid of their 2 best pitchers as
And
of last
well,
we
week.
saying they're
can't
both
count
kind
out
of
the
in-
fact
But they
that
had to
their
do it.
owner.
What's that?
We can't count out the fact that their owner wastes his money on what was it?
Ski resort.
A ski resort.
Well, I'm not. This isn't tit for tat here, but
I
like, do you like the Indians owner or not? Because a lot of people don't like
Paul
him.
Dolan, I hate him.
So they both have 2 bad owners.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Yeah,
They're
well,
both in the same
problem-
position right now.
Okay, so here's the thing
But
for,
the
for
Indians
Cleveland
do-
is he spends money just not to keep players around. He'll bring in young guys, let them up. Then once they become too much,
You're
get
right.
rid of them.
But here's
Yeah,
the next
and I
step.
don't really like that. Like,
Right. We
here's
want to
the-
keep some of our guys,
Yeah.
and we never
That-
do.
that's
he
where I was
doesn't
gonna
want
go.
to spend money. He's a cheapskate.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And here's the thing, like I said, when they brought in the new coach, GM, and new president of baseball operations, the first thing I said was get rid of everybody you have and build up your farm system.
That's
get
pretty
good
much-
prospects. But the next step is, and they didn't do this last time they were good under the last regime, the GM and all the guys they had there.
That's how teams win.
Once you bring these guys up and they're good and they're all playing together, you got to keep these guys
Right.
because they don't show any urgency to sign any guys they have. The only guy they extended was McCutcheon, and then they traded him
Yeah.
like a year later.
No, that's like Cleveland. They didn't want to. They even said, yeah, once Lindor's up, he's gone.
Yeah.
They said straight up
They just
we're
said it
not
straight up.
signing him.
And the thing with Bell
Why would
was-
we resign him? He's only like the second best player on our team.
The jury's still out on the return they got for Josh Bell, but when they got all these new guys, like I was said, you got to get rid of these guys. And Josh Bell, he has the same age as Bryce Harper. Pittsburgh wasn't going to give him that money,
No.
so get something for him. And you're rebuilding right now, and you got to have a good farm system.
Yeah.
And you see teams like the Dodgers, they're good every year, and they still
Yeah.
have a loaded farm system.
They do.
So you just
'Cause
have to
they
do
pay
it.
their
There's so
players.
many
And I-
people
and
that you get
you
through the MLB draft and picking up guys. I mean, the MLB draft is like, what, 20 rounds long?
It's deep.
You have so many chances to pick anybody you want.
Yeah.
You can build up whoever, because 20-plus players a year that join your roster,
Yeah.
you have such a chance to just pick whatever you want.
Yeah.
Someone's not performing, they're cut. MLB doesn't care.
No.
And to stay, this last thing we'll say about the Pirates, and you guys can talk more about the Indians,
Yeah.
but I know they get a lot of heat when, like, especially from Pittsburgh fans, because Pittsburgh's, they're just,
Yeah.
they have
They're
a standard
horrible.
there. Well, right now they are, but they have a standard of championships.
Yeah.
And I know the Pirates haven't, they're never in that boat, but
No.
the thing is like,
Be a middle-of-the-road team for once.
well, no, I'm actually, I'd rather them suck right now than be a middle of the road team. They've been a middle of the road team since their last wild card appearance like 4 or 5 years ago. I'd rather them just get rid of everybody and restart.
They lost to Jake Arrieta and the Cubs, I remember.
Yeah, that was pretty hard to watch, but
I know.
um,
Hey, how do you think it was for me watching a 2013 wild card game where we lost to the Rays? And to the manager.
How about when the
Listen,
Indians
listen.
lost
No,
to the
no,
Cubs?
listen. It built on from that because
That's
Joe
definitely
Madden was that manager of the Rays, and he went
that's
to
it.
the Cubs.
right.
And who that one player, went from the Rays to the Cubs with him. I forget his name.
Benzo.
Chris Bryant.
And
He was
Ben
on the
Zobrist.
Rays.
Yeah.
So, just think about that. Beaten by the same manager twice.
But I guess what I'm saying here, I'm okay with them sucking right now if it means they're
Right.
going to get better in the future. Because don't be stuck in that mediocre range where you're not going to do anything. You're
That's
there,
kind of
but
where the
you're not.
Indians are. We're just sitting. They're like, we're almost there. We're
Yeah.
missing something, and they don't have the money or the willingness to
No.
bring in somebody to
But
put us up to that next
I
level,
get-
like a team like Boston or New York
Yeah.
would or LA.
I get
but
it.
they let me finish. But they instead of bringing in one more guy to maybe make a run, they're like, let's hit the reset button. It worked for us last time. Let's try it again. You know, they did it after the '90s. There was a few years off, then they came back up. They had
Yeah.
CeCe coming out of nowhere.
CeCe,
And once he became
Foster.
expensive, you know, send out that group,
send him off to
bring
the
in
roof.
somebody else. It's just this cycle of
It has to happen with these
CeCe,
small
Grady.
teams.
small market teams.
Yeah.
CeCe, Grady, Fausto, Carmona,
Travis Hafner.
Travis Hafner. Man, that was awesome.
We had Coco Crisp and
Coco
Kenny
Crisp.
Lofton.
And Kenny Lofton. Yeah.
Johnny
but-
Peralta,
Johnny
Victor Martinez.
I didn't like Johnny Peralta.
Nobody
But
ever did, but I did.
Victor Martinez was pretty good.
And all those guys were scrappers.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Struble Cabrera, who was on that team.
Astrudel, man.
And a few other names that everyone I know called him by in third grade.
Drupal.
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. Yeah, but back to the costs and paying, like the low budget teams, like Paul Dolan, they have to spend a little money. I get
And
you
you
want
know what?
you're
If
bringing
we're
in
gonna-
players, but look at the Dodgers. They spend money to keep Kershaw
They have a
out
lot
there.
more money.
Yeah, but
They
they're
have a
Los
lot more-
Angeles.
Yeah, I know they're Los Angeles, but I mean,
Let's
the
keep
only
one
team,
of
the
our
only,
players.
the only team that I can think of that spends a lot of money and doesn't win is the Yankees. They spend all that money.
Well,
and
they
how
are
many-
now, though.
Yeah, and
They
how
just
many?
got Tyone yesterday. They got some other. They got.
I know they
Corey
signed
Kluber,
Kluber.
yeah.
Kluber's getting old.
And I just want to say for the Yankees, I don't want to jump
You
off.
say Kluber's getting old?
Yeah.
Oh well, we see old pitchers all the time.
I know.
Dominate. Look at Kershaw.
Look at CC
He's
Sabathia.
retired.
Yeah, but like 2 years ago, the guy was still doing pretty
He was-
all right.
he was
He
doing
wasn't,
pretty
Cy
all right.
Young
What's
level that
his
he did in
name?
Cleveland. But
What's his name was doing really good. Oh man.
you're forgetting that Kluber's off. What 3-4 years ago won the Cy
I know.
Young.
And he got
Cy
traded
Young.
to Texas and he was hurt. He didn't even
Right.
pitch.
Yeah, he didn't even pitch.
So
But-
shut up about him being
quiet.
old. Let him
With
play
the
a whole
Yankees,
season
though,
first.
Yankees
I
have
know.
zero excuse now to not win a World Series.
Oh, yeah.
They have a
I
stacked
know.
lineup,
And that's-
their only thing missing was pitching, and they got
Yeah.
Tyone and Bauer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
not
the
Bauer.
problem
I mean,
last
Kluber,
season is they
sorry.
started
Kluber.
slumping when it came to hitting. They couldn't
Yeah.
hit
No.
at the end of last
They're
season.
bronze bombers.
They have no. I don't want to hear any
Striking out.
excuse from the Yankees anymore because you talk about them
They-
spending money all the time. They finally have their
Yeah.
pitchers. They have a
They got
stacked
men.
lineup. They have no excuses now. I'm tired of their excuses.
Yeah.
It's time
Win.
to-
Quiz. I mean,
The one thing I want out of the
waste some
Indians
money.
this season, we lost. We sent everybody away. Your contracts are so low. Sign Jose Ramirez back. Get him back.
But would you do it
Did
now?
they?
I mean, you're not.
Did
Gonna,
they?
you're not.
Did
Gonna,
He is an MVP.
I know, but
Did
what?
they
What's
though?
other
don't
than
think
young
he
guys
yet.
that the jury's still out on? I'm like, what? How good are they going to be
thought-
if they do that?
I thought they did sign him.
Who Ramirez?
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about it 2 years ago, or 2 shows ago, or 1 show ago.
But their pitching's still there. I don't know.
I
If,
don't see it,
Would
no.
you want to extend him right now?
Yes.
But you're getting rid of everybody right now.
I don't care. But you know what? Leaving a guy of MVP caliber play on your team, he's
So-
still in his prime right now. Let him
He's
stick
still-
it out. You got plenty of time to wait for the other guys before you have to offer them a big deal.
He's still on.
Plenty of
this.
time.
He's still on this. He's on our roster for this year.
Right.
It's
But I
through
think
2021.
this is his contract year.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it is, yeah.
Re-sign your MVP player.
I mean, believe me, if
We
I
keep
was there,
sending out 15 Cy Youngs every season to anybody who asks. They're like, hey, can we have your Cy Young winner? Take him away!
Yeah. Want
And
a
like,
Maybe
all
if you're
star?
whoever.
with that same excuse, you're like, oh, well, would you want to trade Jose Ramirez? Do you want to trade Shane Bieber?
No.
Exactly. He's our Cy Young guy. We have a Cy Young and an MVP on the same team, even though Jose hasn't won the MVP.
but he's in conversation the
But
last
he's
couple
every
years.
year.
He
Every
should have won it
year.
last year.
Right. He's in the conversation. Why, on any way, shape, or form, would you
Exactly.
ever want to send him anywhere else?
I agree with you.
Exactly.
If we don't want to spend the money on having the super team, at least keep your best player.
I agree with you, but the only question I'm asking is like, okay, maybe they sneak in the playoffs, but are they a World Series team? If their pitching's good, maybe.
Maybe.
If their lineups, half
We'll
decent.
have to see
but
how they can
Let's
hit.
see.
Daniel Johnson, the right fielder, I know can hit that ball pretty well.
I know we have that first baseman who showed some signs of greatness, Bobby Bradley. I think
Yeah.
he's still in our system. They brought him up and he had a couple big hits, but then, the minor leaguer came back in the set like, hey, I'm still just minor leaguer. So they sent him back down to Columbus.
believe me, I know what you're saying.
That was
because
a year or two.
when you're on a small market team like we both are fans of, we want somebody that's known. It's
Yeah.
talked about between everybody around baseball.
Give me a Bryce Harper. Give me a Didi Gregorius or somebody.
No, that's not what I mean. As somebody that we grew here, he came out
Oh,
of our
yeah,
system.
correct.
Yeah.
He came from us. I'm tired of us building
not-
up these
I'm not-
recruits.
And
And then they
sending
go
them
to
back.
play
saying-
the New
I
York
know.
Yankees 2 years later.
I'm
Look
not
at
saying-
Pittsburgh with the Archer trade. They literally screwed themselves.
I'm not saying like the Bryce Harper, but a player like him, like build him up like that.
You mean like Jose Ramirez?
Yeah.
The guy we're talking about right now.
I know. But
No, go ahead.
But I've heard people say before the Yankees team, big teams like that, like that's the Yankees farm team. Like the Indians are a farm team for the Yankees.
How many
I've
players
heard
have we
that.
sent there, especially pitchers?
Every team has.
CC went there. Kluber is now there. I think even Travis Hoffman was there for a little bit.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Like you're
Everyone
saying,
eventually plays on the Yankees.
Yeah. Even the Boston players.
with these
Especially
small market
him.
teams-
Johnny Damon went there.
with these
I'm
small market
surprised
Was
he
teams,
Bob-
Damon an Oakland guy though first?
Yeah. Damon was Oakland, then went to Boston because he wanted money.
Right.
Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon.
I like
Yeah, he was the big part of the Moneyball.
I like
Yeah. And so was Jason Giambi
Yeah, Giambi and Damon
and
when they all left. and
Isringhausen, I think.
something.
Something like that.
Yeah, when those three left, they're like, all right, time to rebuild. What do we do?
They took those posters down in the movie and put up the what was his name? He played for the Indians.
I don't remember.
David Carr or something.
But believe me, I know what you're saying. When you bring up somebody and it's your homegrown product, you want them to be there. I mean, I understood when they traded McCutchen. It was time to trade him, and they got a decent return for him. But
There is no
He was
reason
the
right now
Pittsburgh
to
Pirates.
not sign Ramirez, though.
you're right.
No reason.
And
No
right now
excuse.
he's the Cleveland Indians right now. Like same thing with McCutchen. He named his kid Steele McCutchen. He was Pittsburgh, and they get rid of him. I mean, they had nobody after him, and they're still looking for somebody that is their homegrown guy.
they
It takes forever.
Because you're not going
They
to
had
bring somebody in that's
Dickerson.
playing
They had
MVP.
Dickerson who was doing good, and they traded him away.
Yeah,
They had
well,
Ren-
he wasn't part of the future.
I
though.
know. Reynolds is good. They'll get rid of him too.
They have good guys that are already on the roster now in the farm system that to be excited about. Like I always talk about, keep Brian Hayes. He's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
But they got to keep him.
Who was their manager now? They got a new manager.
Derek Shelton, I like him.
Derek Shelton. Who was the one before?
Clint Hurdle.
That's right. Clinton Hurdle.
We'll see.
All right. Mike, you got anything else for us?
Other than the big signings, Brad Hand went to the Nationals.
Yeah,
I know
Brad
you guys aren't a
Hand.
huge fan of him, but
Signings, schminings, what else?
I mean, I know he
Not-
had like,
nothing in his
I know he had like
There's nothing
30
major.
plus saves for us, but man, the ones he gave up.
I hated Brad Hand.
I hated him. I like Cody Allen.
I swear, every time I watch
Cody Allen
Brad
sucked
Hand,
too at the end.
Guess who our new closer is now? Karinchak. Let's
Karen
go.
Check, number
Karinchak.
47.
He's electric.
He is.
He got rocked in the playoffs. though.
99.
Yeah, he did.
He even got the haircut.
Right.
Well, I was really mad about that. They should have brought
They brought him
him
at the
in
right
later.
They
time.
mishandled it, right?
They should have brought him in later.
But still, he was capable.
They
of
should have
Every
getting
brought
time
him
I saw
in.
Brad Hand finish a game, he blew it every single time I saw
They should have
him.
brought
Especially
him
the last
in
2 years.
first, and then take him out when he's screwing up and put
Karen Check.
Karinchak in.
I love Karen Check. I
Oh,
hope to
he's
keep
cool.
him
I'm
for a
gonna get
while.
his jersey.
Those are
He's
guys you root for.
99.
I already have the 99 Vaughn. I got to get the 99 Karen
Yeah,
Check.
I want to get. He even has a haircut. He
Right.
got the exact
I love
same
it.
haircut.
He's a guy you root for.
Yeah.
High energy, come in the games,
Yeah.
close the door on
I mean, he was kind of like Mike Clevenger, just brought that,
Yeah.
mentality. Same with Trevor Bauer. People hated him, but they
I love
love
him.
to hate Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
I love
Great.
Trevor Bauer.
He's the bad guy.
Bauer outage.
Right.
I love him. I don't know where he's going to go. Nothing. I haven't heard nothing on him.
Since here's a guy that's not really been playing. What has happened to Yasiel Puig?
I don't think Puig's under contract right now.
Wasn't he a free agent?
I think he's free
Yeah.
agent.
I heard
Nobody's
something about
picked him
him.
up.
I only
don't
saw
get
the other
that.
day, how's this guy a free agent still?
Yeah.
He
How?
last played with the Indians, right?
Yeah.
Nobody had him
We
after
got
that?
him from Cincy in the Trevor Bauer
But
trade.
nobody had him after that?
No.
Not that
It was
I know.
a season rental. We picked him up for a rental.
Right. He had a big contract.
We picked up Reyes, too, and that was the guy we were going to keep.
I
We
forgot
were
he
just
was
a
there.
rental to maybe try to get us in the playoffs. Which didn't happen.
He was a late playoff push.
Yeah, nothing else with baseball.
All right. Well, then I think we have one thing left.
I got it.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Well, after this part, you have it.
Yes, I got it.
Matt, you're not stealing my thing.
What? What are you talking about?
This week's Meat of the Week.
Yeah, I have a player. That's what I meant.
I know, I thought you were
Yeah,
trying
but he had
to
to do
say.
his
I thought you were trying to say you
Oh,
wanted
no,
to steal my
no,
pizzazz,
I
but
ain't
you're not stealing my pizzazz. This is the one
No.
thing I got.
Well, do it again for me. We'll do it right.
This week's Meat of the Week.
All right, so my meathead of the week is Aaron Rodgers, okay? Because this guy didn't really play football at all.
It should be Matt LaFleur.
It should be him. You know what? Let's put them both in.
Yeah, because
LaFleur
he didn't run
too.
it on the third down and before.
How about the Packers? Just say that.
Yeah, Packers. Yeah.
Tom Brady, who I would maybe put in as an honorable mention, but 3 interceptions and they still win the game. But that's the
They
thing.
won. That doesn't
They
matter.
won. How'd you win? How did you let him
It's
win?
only a
when
bad
he had
performance when
3
you lose the
intercep-
game, a.k.a. Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, be quiet.
The guy threw 4 interceptions. I can
I
talk
know,
crap
I
on
know.
that.
But you should lose the game when you turned the ball over that bad, and they didn't. They still won because Aaron Rodgers is a meathead. So
That is for sure. Well, Mike, it's been great having you back finally after
Great
COVID
being
and
back.
winter break. Show's back at full strength, baby. Now I just have to make sure I upload it this week.
And make sure nobody else gets sick, so we're not.
Right, yeah. Everybody stay healthy on the show, please. It all goes downhill if I end up getting sick. I have all the equipment. All right, well, thank you all for tuning in this week. I'm Alec Caberna.
I'm Mike Wolfgang.
and I have Matt Morrison.
Rest in peace to the legend Kobe Bryant. 1 year since his passing and 1 year since the start of this podcast. Here's to another year of the show and hopefully no more famous people or many people dying anytime shortly.
Big things coming.
Big things coming. Not death related.
No, for our show. I should emphasize that. Sorry.
Right. Big things coming in the death department. Oh no. All right, we'll see you guys all next week.
See you guys.